Chapter 1322. Avatar. Li Fan was taken aback. If he could learn this martial art, it would be amazing. Can I learn this? Naturally, you can't learn it yourself. The beauty smiled. This martial art must be personally taught to you by this concubine. That's great. Li Fan was a little excited. If I learn this martial art, wouldn't I have the upper hand when fighting in the future? That's natural. This is this concubine's true inheritance. Then I'll thank White Tiger Fairy first. Li Fan cupped his hands. His trip to the underwater tower was really not in vain. Then after we eat, let's teach each other. The beauty smiled. There's no rush. Alright, I'm also hungry. Li Fan laughed. Sister Chiu's cooking is really good. I'll be lucky in the future. Li Fan was so happy, and the beauty also had a happy look. Only the four sword maids kept their heads down without saying a word, as if there was something sad in their hearts. After Li Fan finished eating, the beauty waved her hand. The four of you can leave. Yes. The four beautiful sword maids left the room. The beauty stood up, stretched out her hand, and once again pulled Li Fan. Come with me. Ah. Li Fan didn't understand what this stunning beauty meant. Isn't it just imparting? And, this imparting requires a balance of yin and yang. The beauty's words made Li Fan stunned. What does she mean? Yin and yang balance? This sounds good. Looking at this beauty, Li Fan felt that his lower body had the urge to rise. It's getting late, let's start. The beauty led Li Fan to sit on the bed and then pulled down the bed curtain. This woman's flattery was excellent. The two enjoyed the pleasure of sex, very happy. However, during this process, Li Fan sensed a frosty power coming from the other party's body, constantly surging into his body. Although it wasn't much, it was really special. It slowly merged with his internal strength. After being genetically modified and eating a dragon, although Li Fan's physical body was strong, there was an indescribable feeling of depression in his dantian. As the beauty channeled her power into him, Li Fan felt the gloomy feeling slowly dissipating. His entire body felt light and comfortable again. Li Fan had a pleasant feeling of floating in the air, constantly attacking his heart. This dual cultivation lasted for a day and a night. By the time Li Fan got off the bed, the beautiful woman's figure seemed to have dimmed a bit. She gazed at Li Fan with amorous eyes. Li Fan, from now on, you must treat those four girls well. She spoke slowly, and every word seemed to have no strength. Don't worry, I will treat them well, treat them like good sisters. That's not necessary, they are after all servants. You are the master, you can't lose your identity. Yes, I understand. Li Fan nodded, but you don't have to worry, I will definitely find some miraculous medicine to restore your body. Thank you for your kindness, but I appreciate it. However, I'm afraid it's too late. The beauty sighed. I have already taught you the method of external body. Also, you should have more or less comprehended the third level of martial god true body. At that time, you won't lose to the new four saints' weapons. I will not let you down. That's for the best. The beauty was gratified. Don't forget your promise. The beauty's body slowly dissipated, turning into specks of starlight, disappearing bit by bit under Li Fan's astonished gaze. Ah, Miss Bai. Li Fan wanted to pull the beauty back, but when he only grabbed the specks of starlight. If we are fated, we will meet again. Li Fan could faintly hear her voice, but she was already gone. Li Fan looked at the empty round bed, reached out his hand and touched it. It was still warm. And that woman's fragrance was still drifting in front of his nose. The previous alluring scene was like a dream. He was dazed for a while, only reacting after a long time. The white tiger had really disappeared. She had left the last bit of her power to him, and then she had perished. This news had to be told to the four ladies downstairs. While Li Fan was still in a daze, Chun Er's voice came from outside. Master, can I come in? Ah, come in. This sentence made Li Fan wake up from his dream. Hey, come in. As Li Fan finished speaking, the stone door opened, and 4 beautiful maids walked in. Chun Er took the lead, Dong Er at the back. However, the 4 beauties' eyes were red and swollen, obviously they had just cried. It seemed like they already knew when Miss Bai died. Master, we will help you change your clothes. Chun Er stepped forward, holding a brand new white robe in her hand. The other sword maids followed by the side, holding different clothes in their hands. There were underwear and shoes. The girls helped Li Fan put on this robe. The back of the robe had a white tiger drawn on it, with tiger claws hanging down from the shoulders. It looked very impressive. I haven't worn this kind of clothes for a long time. Li Fan looked at the sportswear at the side. This nanotechnology is quite useful, but it can only change the color, not the style. Master, from today onwards, you are the pagoda master. The 4 sword maids knelt down in front of Li Fan. Chun Er took the lead and said, we sisters will serve you wholeheartedly. You guys get up first. Li Fan is, after all, a modern man. Seeing the beauties calling him master, although he was secretly happy, he still felt a little embarrassed. Now that the reform is open, don't call me master. If outsiders see it, they will say that I am old-fashioned. Since that's the case, I will call you young master. Chun Er was quick-witted and immediately changed her address. How can that be? Xia Er shook her head. Master is master, how can I be young master? You can call me young master everywhere, but there is only one master. Yes. Dong Er nodded. I can also be your sex slave, it's fine. Chiu Er blinked her eyes. You can whip Chiu Er as you please. Chiu Er can prepare a whip for you. Then you can call me husband. Li Fan thought for a moment, then said. Husband could be a form of address for a husband in ancient times, or it could be a form of address for a noble young master. That's fine, we will do as you say, husband. Chun Er nodded. From today onwards, us 4 sisters will be husband's subordinates. No matter what you need, just tell us. It's nothing much, I need to go into seclusion for half a month. You guys just have to guard me. Don't worry, husband, this is our duty. Chun Er nodded. And, then. Chun Er, you stay here. The rest of you go do what you need to do. When I am in seclusion, I will tell you to do anything. Yes, husband. Chapter 13:23. Chun Er stayed in the room and served Li Fan day and night. Other than eating and drinking, Li Fan sat cross-legged on the round bed. With White Tiger's help, the vital energy in Li Fan's body became much purer. However, to Li Fan's surprise, he found that there was an additional dantian in his body. Every person who practiced the internal martial arts would cultivate a dantian to store the true qi and inner force in their body. Li Fan used to have a dantian. He originally had a dantian 3 inches below his navel. However, after obtaining White Tiger's true inheritance, a new dantian appeared at his chest center acupoint for some unknown reason. This chest center acupoint was originally a fatal point. Sometimes, when experts fought, they would deliberately attack this acupoint to create a one-hit kill effect. Now, Li Fan had an additional dantian, but he did not know whether it was a blessing or a curse. A portion of the vital energy in Li Fan's body was also slowly injected into this dantian. Li Fan cultivated for 3 days and 3 nights before he suddenly understood. Could this dantian be used to provide energy to the avatar? As Li Fan thought of this, he followed his own ideas and did the same. With his efforts, the vital energy in his second dantian was slowly released. It passed through the meridians in his body and came out of his body, slowly condensing into the appearance of a person. This person was naked and had a familiar face. If it was not him, who else could it be? When Li Fan saw him, his heart was in turmoil. Sure enough, it was really the avatar. With such an ability, he had truly become a trump card. No matter how strong the opponent was, when the avatar suddenly appeared while fighting with him, it would still be easy to kill the opponent. Thinking of this, Li Fan could not help but feel a little excited. He controlled the avatar and wanted it to use the mysterious dragon ice palm on him. However, the avatar only hit him blankly. There was only a move, but no power to speak of. Strange. Li Fan fell into deep thought. What went wrong? He studied for a while and finally found the mystery. Although the avatar body was powerful, it was not omnipotent. Because there was only one dantian, it could only record one set of martial arts. Li Fan was thinking about which set of martial arts he should practice. Since he could only learn one technique, he should learn the most vicious one. Only then would he be able to subdue the enemy in one move. Among all his skills, the dragon subduing sword seemed to be the most suitable. But Li Fan thought it over and over again. Although the dragon subduing sword was good, it was still his own skill. If the enemy were to fight with him, they would definitely be on guard against his attacks. Since he wanted a trump card, Li Fan felt that he might as well practice a set of other people's martial arts. Li Fan thought about it for a long time before he suddenly remembered Five Emperors' divine palm. That's right. If it was this palm technique, no one would have thought of it. Although he had only seen Tai Bai Jinxing use this palm technique, Li Fan had a photographic memory after cultivating the lawful embodiment of heaven and earth. He would be able to execute a move that others had only used once after learning it 3 to 5 times. Wonderful. Wonderful, ha! When Li Fan thought of this, he could not help but laugh out loud. His laughter attracted Chun-Er's attention. Husband, do you need Chun-Er to do anything for you? Chun-Er was still a little worried. Li Fan was their new master. She did not want anything to happen to him. Since the old master had instructed them, the 4 of them had to ensure their new master's safety. Ha, it's fine, it's fine. Chun, look at my avatar body. Isn't it ingenious? Li Fan pointed to the avatar body beside him. Chun-Er's pretty face instantly turned red. That bashful expression on her face was extremely beautiful. Li Fan suddenly understood something. While he was distracted, he could not help but scold himself. Damn it, Li Fan. How could he forget about this? His avatar body had not even worn any clothes. It was still naked. Although Chun-Er was not young, she was still an inexperienced girl. How could she look at this? Sorry. I forgot about this. With a thought, Li Fan's avatar body was immediately wrapped in a layer of black clothes. Husband, you did nothing wrong. It's all my fault. Chun knelt down and apologized. I want to serve Master for the rest of my life. The 4 of us are already yours. Then get up first. Li Fan was embarrassed to keep Chun-Er kneeling in front of him. His awkwardness was acting up. Speaking of which, Chun-Er, you've been with Big Sister Bai for so long. Do you know about the 5 Emperors' palm? Li Fan had only seen 4 of the palms. There was still one that Tai Bai Jinxing had not used. Li Fan could only temporarily not learn this move. He could only use it after seeing it. Sorry, husband. I don't know. But I can help you ask Dong-Er. Oh. Dong-Er knows? Yes. Dong-Er is proficient in all the martial arts in the world. I think she should know a little about the 5 Emperors' palm. Alright. Quickly call her over. Yes, husband. I'll go right now. Thinking of this, Chun-Er suddenly covered her face and smiled. Her smile was boundless, causing Li Fan to be slightly dazed. Husband, what are you looking at? Noticing Li Fan's fiery gaze, Chun could not help but feel flustered. You're so beautiful that the moon and flowers blush. Li Fan said subconsciously, causing Chun-Er to feel a little flustered. Husband, you're flattering me. Chun-Er was the leader of the 4 women. After a moment of shyness, she became natural and unrestrained. She smiled sweetly at Li Fan and bowed. Then I'll go out. Please wait for a moment, husband. With that, Chun turned and left the room. Not long after, Dong-er, who was dressed in white and had a cold expression on her face, walked in slowly. She looked at Li Fan and seemed to hesitate for a moment. Then, she knelt down in front of Li Fan. "Greetings, Master." Dong-er's voice was still cold as she called Li Fan Master. Li Fan understood. After all, they had just changed masters and did not have a good impression of him. It would take some time to nurture their relationship. However, Li Fan was not in a hurry. After all, these 4 girls were going to be with him for a long time. Feelings could be nurtured slowly. "Dong-er, I heard that you're proficient in martial arts." "Just a little." Have you heard of the 5 Emperors' Palm?" The 5 Emperors' Palm was created by Liao Tian, a member of the royal family of the martial arts world. This palm technique needs to be paired with the 5 Emperors Manual. There are a total of 5 levels in this technique. It's a type of martial art with extreme yang energy. "Oh. Then do you know about the 5 Emperors Manual?" "Yes, I can recite it backwards." Dong nodded. Li Fan was overjoyed. He walked forward, carried Dong-er and spun her around. Dong did not say anything. Her face was a little red, but she quickly suppressed it. "Dong, you're really my little Baidu." Chapter 13:24. Dong-er's body trembled slightly, but she didn't say a word and let Li Fan spin her around in circles. Dong-er still looked cold on the surface, but her heart couldn't calm down for a long time. "Master is too bold to treat me like this. But, as Master's sword servant, both body and mind belong to Master. Should I struggle? If I struggle, I'll go against the promise of a sword servant. But if I don't struggle, will Master think that I'm an unrestrained woman? Ah. What should I do?" Dong-er was completely frozen. "Ah, sorry, I was a little excited." Li Fan hurriedly put Dong-er down, but Dong-er stood there as if she was frozen. No matter how Li Fan called, she ignored him. "Dong-er." Li Fan flicked Dong-er's forehead with his finger, and she suddenly came back to her senses. "Sorry, Master." Dong-er suddenly knelt down again. "I was distracted, please punish me." "What punishment? It's not like you did anything wrong." Seeing Dong-er's serious look, Li Fan reached out his hand and touched her hair. "You've already done very well. Get up and tell me about the 5 Emperors' scripture." "Yes." Dong-er regained her ice-cold appearance. She stood there, and, word by word, recited the 5 Emperors' treasured Bible's internal energy chant. Li Fan sat back on the bed, listening and memorizing. This 5 Emperors' treasured scripture was indeed incomparably firm and fierce. It was the exact opposite of his somewhat feminine 9 dragons' strength. But if he practiced it, it could complement his internal force and benefit each other. Li Fan had a pure yang body, but his internal force was sucked away by Murong, so his God-connecting meridian was destroyed. Originally, Li Fan was focused on practicing the 7 heroes' force and didn't want to rely on other people's martial arts, so he didn't try to recover his God-connecting meridian. But at this moment, Li Fan decided to reawaken his God-connecting meridian. With his new dantian, he could practice the 5 Emperors' scripture. After listening to Dong, Li Fan closed his eyes and began to circulate his energy to regulate his breathing. Following the chant of the 5 Emperors' treasured scripture, he slowly produced a mouthful of yuan qi in his new dantian and injected it into his withered spirit-connecting meridians. This God-connecting meridian was actually another set of meridians hidden in Li Fan's body. With the injection of new essence qi, the God-connecting meridian was nourished again. The 9 dragons' force was like ice, while the 5 Emperors' divine technique was like fire. The 2 dantians, one hot and one cold, formed the yin and yang tai chi, which complemented each other. Yang gave birth to yin and yin gave birth to yang. Under the stimulation of Li Fan's 9 dragons' strength, the 5 Emperors' treasured tome actually grew rapidly. This Li Fan directly cultivated the 5 Emperors' treasured canon to the 4th level in just one day. However, Li Fan was not in a hurry. He did it in one go and practiced for another day, reaching the 5th level of the 5 Emperors' treasured cannon to perfection. Who? Li Fan exhaled a mouthful of turbid air and slowly opened his eyes. He saw Dong standing in front of him, holding a plate in her hands. On the plate, there were some delicacies and a bottle of liquor. Dong did not say a word as she knelt in front of Li Fan, holding the plate with both hands. Oh, there's no need to do this. Leave the food here and find a place to sit for a while. Although Li Fan said this, Dong was not moved. She still knelt there, holding the plate, and insisted on her own method of doing things. All right. Li Fan knew that Dong was a stubborn person. If she insisted on something, she would definitely do it. Li Fan picked up the snacks on the plate and ate a few. At the same time, he did not forget to take the bottle of liquor and drank a few mouthfuls to hydrate himself. All right, I'm full. Take it away. Yes. Dong took the rest of the food out. Soon, she returned to the house and stood in front of the door, guarding Li Fan. I have mastered the 5 Emperors Manual. Could you please tell me more about the 5 Emperors Palm? Dong's expression did not change, but she was surprised. No matter what, the 5 Emperors Manual was a top-notch inner force cultivation method. An ordinary person would need at least 3 to 7 years to master the first level. As for the second level, it would need at least 5 to 10 years. The 5 Emperors Palm also has 5 levels of inner force. With each level, the power of the palm technique will double. This palm technique only has 5 moves, corresponding to the 5 emperors. As Dong spoke, she gestured the 5 moves. Although she was proficient in all the martial arts in the world, she had never practiced the corresponding inner force. Therefore, Dong could demonstrate moves, but they did not have any power. But this was enough for Li Fan. Moreover, it was such a beautiful woman. The moves she demonstrated were beautiful and elegant, which made Li Fan's heart beat faster. The first palm, Yellow Emperor ascends the dragon. This is a fast attack, the faster the better. Dong did not know what her master was thinking and continued to demonstrate. The second palm, Green Emperor Sea Calming. This palm descends from the sky, targeting the top of the head. Once this palm is out, it is like Mount Tai, moving the mountains and filling the seas. Yes, I have seen these 2 palms before. They are the same as yours. Li Fan recalled the battle with Tai Bai Jinxing. The third palm, Burning Emperor Yen. This palm uses the yang attribute of the 5 emperors' divine technique, making the palm extremely hot. When the palm is out, the heat will spread everywhere, affecting the surrounding people. So, this Burning Emperor Yen is a group attack. Li Fan could not help but praise that Liao Tian, the emperor of the martial arts world, was indeed powerful. There were indeed many talents in the martial arts world, and there was always a higher mountain. The fourth palm is called White Emperor Holding the Sky. This palm is suitable for defense and counterattack. It attacks from the bottom up, focusing on the top 3, and can force the enemy to retreat. As Dong spoke, she lowered her body, raised her palm from the bottom up, and slapped upwards. The last palm is the ultimate move of the 5 Emperors' divine palm. It is called Black Emperor Demon Subduing. Dong sighed, Master, this palm is full of changes, I don't know how to do it. It's okay, I roughly understand. Li Fan had the 5 Emperors' Bible as a foundation, and he had learned the first 4 palms. This 5th palm, he seemed to have understood a little. The 5 Emperors' divine palm was indeed worthy of its reputation. Now that it was used by his clone, it was the most suitable move. I have gained a lot, Li Fan was very satisfied. He closed his eyes and continued to practice his skills with his hands in a circle. He had just started practicing the divine technique, and he still had to consolidate it. Dong stood at the side in a daze, watching Li Fan meditate again. This new master's temper is really strange. What kind of person is he? Li Fan's seclusion lasted for another half a month. And in this half a month, he did not eat or drink, as if he had passed away. Although the 4 sword servants were worried, they did not dare to disturb him. Their new master did not seem to be an ordinary human. There should be no problem if he did not eat or drink for half a month, right? After all, their master was sitting on the bed, and his expression was normal. They could not see anything wrong with him. On the 16th day, Li Fan finally opened his eyes again. Chapter 13:25. Husband, you're finally awake. Chun-er was a little excited as she looked at Li Fan. I was so anxious. I'm fine. I just cultivated for 2 days. Li Fan was now refreshed, and he felt very comfortable. He stood up and stretched. He felt as if he had been reborn. Husband, it wasn't just 2 days. You cultivated for a total of 15 days. Ah. 15 days? That long? Li Fan was shocked. He didn't expect to cultivate for so long. However, when it came to cultivation, once one became obsessed, it would be hard to control it. There were many people who became obsessed with martial arts and ended up suffering from qi deviation. That's right. Husband, you made us anxious. It's my fault for making you worry. Li Fan cupped his hands at them. Chun-er and the others hurriedly knelt down. Husband, you're the master. We can't do this. We're all your maidservants. You don't have to be so polite to us. Sigh, it's a modern society after all. Li Fan laughed bitterly. He didn't expect these maidservants to be so old-fashioned. The rules can't be changed. All right. Then I won't change them. Li Fan didn't force them. After all, he could slowly and subtly change them. Now that I've mastered my divine technique, I can't hide here anymore. Li Fan stood up. A few beautiful sword maidservants hurriedly came forward. Some carried a basin of water, while others carried new clothes. They helped Li Fan wash his face and change his clothes. You guys pack up. We should go out. Go out? The maidservants looked at each other. It was unknown what they were thinking. Have you guys never gone out before? No. Chun-er explained. We often go out to buy food and daily necessities. That's great. You guys don't know what's going on outside and will be troubled. Pack up. Let's go. As soon as he said that, the girls all looked a little sad. What's wrong? You don't want to go out? Seeing their appearance, Li Fan couldn't help but worry. That's not it, husband. Chun-er's pretty face was also a little gloomy. We 4 sisters were adopted by the old master when we were young, and then we lived in this pagoda. After so many years, they had developed some feelings for each other. To suddenly have to leave, he felt a little uncomfortable. However, you're our master. Wherever you go, we'll naturally follow. Sorry to trouble you. Li Fan also felt a little embarrassed, but he would never allow these 4 girls to live in the tower. The 4 emblems sword formation of these 4 girls was too powerful. If he hadn't been genetically modified, he would have fallen into their trap and died a long time ago. With such a powerful helper, it would be a waste not to use it. What's more, aside from their swordsmanship, the 4 of them were also outstanding in other aspects. They could be of great help to him. Husband, what about the treasures in the pagoda? Chun-er asked. Old master likes to collect weapons, so there are many swords in this pagoda. Help me take Chun Bo Chioshui. Li Fan thought for a moment. Leave the rest in the pagoda first. Then seal this pagoda and don't let outsiders enter. Yes, husband. Chun nodded and brought a few girls with her to start working. Taking advantage of the night, Li Fan brought the 4 beautiful girls back to Haiban City according to the method left by White Tiger. Although he had already arranged for someone to come to Haiban City to look for him, he had suddenly disappeared for about a month or 2. Haiban City was also very lively at night. There were people coming and going on the streets, and the roads were endless. Li Fan was eager to return home. He just wanted to return to the Seven Knights Villa as soon as possible. However, if he walked all the way back, it would take at least a few days. Oh right, Chun, you usually come to the shore to buy things. Do you have money with you? Li Fan suddenly remembered what Chun said before. Husband, we have money with us. Do you need it, husband? Yes, lend it to me first. How much do you have? There should be more than 3 million here. Husband, here. Chun took out an ICBC gold card and handed it to Li Fan. Li Fan was stunned for a moment. It turned out that these girls were quite modern. In that case, do you have a phone? No, we don't. We don't usually use it. How can that be? We will need it in the future. Good Chun, I borrowed this money first. When I return to the Seven Knights Villa, I will naturally return it to you. Husband, what are you saying? Chun was a little puzzled. This is your money. Old master left everything to you, so it is naturally your property. Sister Bai left me a lot, and your husband doesn't lack money. Li Fan was a little proud. After all, he was really lucky to have a girl who could earn money at home. Husband, you are so amazing. It is our blessing. Chun bowed slightly to Li Fan and was helped up by Li Fan. Hey, there is no need for so many rules in the outside world. In modern society, people can't stand this. What does it have to do with us if they can't stand it? Xia curled her lips. I will poke out the eyes of anyone who can't stand it. Li Fan complained incessantly. This little girl's temper was really fiery. Let them poke my eyes, all right? Chiao blinked her large, watery eyes. Her eyelashes flickered, making her look very adorable. Lord, what do you say? My ass. If you don't behave, I will punish you. All right. Lord, quickly punish me. Li Fan was having a headache. He couldn't do anything to Chiao. Chiao, don't speak nonsense. Be careful of making young master unhappy. Chun reprimanded her, and Chiao became more obedient. Li Fan thought to himself, it seems that only Chun can control this girl. Husband, Chiao's personality is strange. If there is anything wrong with her, just punish her severely. Chun had hoped that Li Fan wouldn't be soft-hearted, but who knew that Chiao would nod her head vigorously after she spoke. Her eyes were filled with anticipation, and Chun was speechless. This girl was incurable. All right, Chiao, stop fooling around. Husband, what should we do next? Chun could only change the topic. Follow me to buy a cell phone first. Although it was already late, Li Fan believed that there were still cell phone shops open for business. There were naturally people who were willing to do things that could earn money. Then we will do as you say, husband. Chun seemed a little regretful. If I had known this would happen, I would have brought the palanquin. The journey is slow, and if the 4 of us carry young master, we will be able to travel very quickly. That would be too shocking. I can't take that. Li Fan hurriedly shook his head. He turned and saw that there was a cell phone shop open on the street. What a coincidence. Let's go. Chapter 13:26. Li Fan had earned 4 personal maids for no reason. He brought them with him all the way into the shop. The shop wasn't very big, especially at night. There was no one else in the shop except for a female clerk in her early 20s. She wore a red shirt and black trousers. She looked rather delicate. She stood in front of the counter, fiddling with her phone. She seemed to be chatting with someone. When Li Fan and the others walked in, the female clerk didn't even look up. There were probably not many people who bought phones here. Most of them just looked around and left. Pretty lady, I want to buy a phone. Li Fan wasn't angry. The better his martial arts skills were, the higher his realm would be. How much is it? The female clerk put down her phone and looked at Li Fan. She had to look at Li Fan's attire before she could judge his taste in buying a phone. As a result, she froze for a moment and then fainted. Pretty lady. Li Fan was shocked. What was going on? Xia, go take a look. Chun instructed. Xia immediately leaped into the counter and helped the female shop assistant up. Among the 4 sisters, Chun'er was good at housework, Xia'er was good at medicine, Chio'er was good at cooking, and Dong'er was very familiar with martial arts. Li Fan felt that the 4 maids were the 4 talented ladies. Xia'er helped the female clerk up and put her 2 slender fingers on the female clerk's wrist. She's fine. She just fainted. Xia'er pushed the female clerk away and ignored her. Why did she faint all of a sudden? Li Fan was puzzled. He looked outside subconsciously. If someone saw them, would they come here to kill the 5 of them? Xia'er, wake her up. So troublesome. Xia'er looked very reluctant. Xia'er, you're too much. Chun'er was a little angry. She glared at Xia'er. How can you be so rude to your husband? Xia'er saw that Chun'er was really angry. She seemed a little wronged, and her eyes turned red. Xia'er, I know you don't want to follow me. Li Fan pondered for a moment before saying, I don't like to force people to do things against their will. You can go back to the pagoda now. I won't stop you. As for the other sisters, whoever wants to follow me can follow me. If you don't want to follow me, you can go back. Li Fan had already spoken. Chio'er was the first to step forward and hold Li Fan's arm. Sir, Chio'er won't leave. Chio'er will stay by your side. Li Fan looked at Chio'er's sincere eyes and felt a little touched. As long as you are willing to hit and scold Chio'er every day, Chio'er will be satisfied. Li Fan managed to retract his emotions in time. Husband, you are now our master. We will live and die with you. Chun'er also expressed her stance very directly, no matter what, Chun will not leave you. I'll stay too, Dong said coldly. Xia'er was stuttering, not knowing what to do. Tears were welling up in her eyes. She was in so much pain. Husband, Xia'er is a little hot-tempered, but she doesn't mean any harm. Chun'er was the leader of the 4 women, after all. She couldn't bear to see Xia'er like this. You can punish her, but don't chase her away. Is that so? Li Fan's gaze landed on Xia'er. Xia'er, are you willing to listen to me? Xia'er bit her lip. Tears welled up in her eyes as she nodded heavily. Then, she turned her head to the side and looked in another direction. Then, wake this woman up. Li Fan said, do you think I can't teach you a lesson? Xia'er walked over obediently this time. She reached out with 2 fingers and pressed on the saleswoman's acupuncture points a few times. She channeled her inner energy into her body. After fighting with the 4 women once, Li Fan knew that they didn't cultivate true qi. They cultivated yin qi, just like Murongs. Yin qi and yang qi used to be the most popular inner energy in the martial arts world. It only changed after the Tang dynasty. It was a pity that Li Fan cultivated primordial qi. If he cultivated yang qi, he could cultivate yin qi as well. That way, he would be able to combine yin qi and progress faster. However, there were pros and cons to this. Although yin qi and yang qi were powerful, they weren't as powerful as primordial qi. Primordial qi was like a sea that contained hundreds of rivers. It was the true qi of heaven and earth. Although it was difficult to cultivate, it was limitless. Under Xia'er's medical treatment, the saleswoman slowly regained consciousness. She lay in Xia'er's arms, not knowing what was going on. However, when she saw Li Fan, she was stunned and was about to faint again. Miss, don't faint. Li Fan shouted, and Xia'er pressed on the saleswoman's temple. The saleswoman shivered as cold air entered her body. She was finally awake. You are Li Fan. The girl took a few deep breaths and looked at Li Fan. After a long time, she finally asked. Yes, Li Fan was embarrassed. What's going on? Why is she reacting so strongly? Ah! The saleswoman screamed, scaring Xia Er. Xia Er quickly pressed on the saleswoman's temple, and her throat went hoarse. She couldn't make a sound. All right, Xia Er, let her speak. Li Fan instructed Xia, seeing that the saleswoman had calmed down. Xia Er was much more obedient now. Although she still didn't like Li Fan, she did as Li Fan said. Under Li Fan's command, Xia Er unsealed the saleswoman's acupoint. The saleswoman stood up and grabbed Li Fan's hands. Her eyes were filled with excitement. Li Fan, I'm your fan. I like you so much. Is it really you? Calm down, as Li Fan said this, his voice was imbued with vitality. It was like a demonic voice that entered the saleswoman's mind. The maids at the side could hear it too. They couldn't help but mumble to themselves. Master's skills were indeed too strong. Just a simple sentence could already reach the level of a demonic voice entering one's mind. Even Xia Er's soul-manipulating technique wasn't as powerful as this. Yes, I'll calm down. The saleswoman calmed down under Li Fan's hypnotic voice. She gently stroked her swollen breasts, suppressing her emotions. I, Li Fan, am just a martial artist. I'm not an idol or a celebrity. You don't have to have such a big reaction, do you? Li Fan knew that he had some fame, but it wasn't enough to make the saleswoman faint. You're not just a martial artist now, the saleswoman said as she took out her phone and played a video. This is a TV series that you filmed. You're more popular than any of the male idols now. Li Fan fell silent. While he was away, Lu Wan had invested in My Wife is Martial Arts Master. Had it been released? Chapter 1327. Lu Wan's painstaking efforts to make this TV series was really released. Because they fired a certain popular little fresh meat who acted like a big shot, this TV series was boycotted by all kinds of diehard fans and internet water armies in the early stages, so it was not very popular at the beginning. But Lu Wan did spend a lot of effort to make this TV series. Because they did not hire those popular little fresh meats, this TV series had a lot of money to spend on production. Especially since the male lead was the master of the Seven Knights Villa, Li Fan, who was currently in the headlines. Moreover, there were the famous martial arts sisters, Jiang Yuan and Jiang Fangfang, who made cameo appearances. In addition, Shen Chen sang the theme song, which brought a lot of fans to the TV series. Lu Wan followed Li Fan's request and did not hire any scriptwriters to change the script. As the closest person to Li Fan, she specially found two serious and responsible scriptwriters to strictly check every character in the TV series. Therefore, in terms of the script, this TV series was also excellent. Even if it was not popular at the beginning, after watching the first 2 episodes, some people completely fell in love with this conscientious TV series. Originally, Lu Wan planned to do it at a loss, but she did not expect it to become so popular that all the major platforms came to buy the rights. And the main character of the TV series, Li Fan, was originally acting as himself. His acting skills did not need to be adjusted, and he acted very well. The character of Li Fan was also deeply loved by everyone. He grew from a stupid and bullied student to a grandmaster, fighting against all kinds of strong enemies. In the end, he even built the Seven Knights Villa for the sake of Chinese martial arts. Although there were other purposes for building the Seven Knights Villa, it was not convenient to show it in the TV series, unless the TV series did not want to be broadcast. Even so, it still could not go through the channels of satellite TV, and could only be broadcast as a web series on the platform. But the quality of the audience in China had already increased. A true conscientious TV series would definitely be liked by the public, and it would quickly become an effect. Even Li Fan did not expect that he would become so popular. Li Fan was originally a handsome young man, and now he played a hero that was liked by everyone. Recently, Li Fan was called the nation's Prince Charming. Lu Wanner made a prompt decision. She even specially set up a Weibo account for Li Fan and hired someone to manage it. Within a few days, Li Fan's Weibo fans exceeded 50 million, and it was still rising. As for the little fresh meat who had been fired, he had long been forgotten by everyone. At this moment, the female shop assistant's reaction shocked Li Fan for a moment. He comforted her for a long time before he finally calmed her down. I'm here to buy a few cell phones, Apple or Samsung. The latest Sony is also not bad. Knowing that Li Fan was not short of money, the shop assistant quickly recommended her own mobile phone. You are my idol. I will sell them to you at the original price, then your boss will scold you to death. Li Fan laughed. This girl was innocent and cute. Hee, it's fine. This is my aunt's shop. I came here to help earn some pocket money during my vacation. The female shop assistant blushed and said to Li Fan, I originally wanted to earn some money, to go to Seven Heroes Villa, to see if I could see you. I didn't expect to see you here. Oh my god. I still can't believe it. You really are Li Fan, haha, I can't be fake. Then can I touch it? As she spoke, she even extended her small hand towards Li Fan. How dare you? How dare you be so presumptuous towards young master? Xia scolded. Not only her, but the other 3 female sword attendants also unsheathed their swords with a loud sound. The bright sword light reflected on the female shop assistant's face, causing her to tremble in fear. Li Fan quickly waved his hand to stop the 4 sensitive girls. Don't be afraid. It's fine. Li Fan comforted the female shop assistant, I am not a god. You can touch me all you want. The female shop assistant then looked at the 4 powerful girls behind Li Fan. When she realized that they had all sheathed their swords, she gathered her courage and reached out her hand to touch Li Fan's face. She pinched it again, and then she became happy again. It's true. It's true. He, it's true. Alright, you will be possessed if you laugh again. Li Fan's demonic voice entered her brain again, and only then did the female shop assistant regain her senses. Yes, it's my fault. I was too excited. Idol, which imported phone do you want to buy? I will sell it at a loss. That's not necessary. I still have to earn money. How can I let you lose money? Li Fan felt that this girl's silly look was quite cute. Moreover, there's nothing good about imported phones right now. Help me choose 5 domestic ones. Alright, as expected of our nation's Prince Charming. The female shop assistant became even more infatuated with Li Fan. She stared blankly at Li Fan for a while, and was awoken by Xia's cough. She then took out a few phones from the counter. Recently, these phones have been selling very well. Xiaomi Mi 5. It has superior performance. Xiaomi Mi Mix. It's a concept phone. And, if you like a more business-like phone, there is also the Huawei Mate 9. We have a Porsche version. If you like it, you can buy it. It's a limited edition model. Then, give me a Porsche. Li Fan heard this and felt that it was not a bad idea. Which phone do you like? Choose for yourselves. We don't know about these things. You can arrange it for us, husband. Chun-er's face was like a peach blossom, and her smile was like the spring breeze. Girls like the prettier ones, these 4 Oppo phones are more popular with girls. Moreover, they are in 4 different colors. They match the 4 beauties very well. The female shop assistant took out 4 phones. Even though they were not stained with dust, the appearance and color of the phones still made the sword servants take a second look. Alright, that's all. Chun-er, bill. Li Fan placed the gold card back in Chun-er's hands. He then gave an order, and Chun immediately walked up and took out the card for the female shop assistant to swipe at the POS machine. the female shop assistant muttered in her heart. As expected of the nation's Prince Charming. He even has 4 beautiful female assistants by his side. But this is the only way to match his status as a Prince Charming. Thank you, husband. Humph. I don't care. This phone has a vibration function. Sir, quick, use the phone, put it, dong, covered Chio's mouth, who was panting heavily. Li Fan put away his awkward expression and thanked the female shop assistant before walking out. The moment he walked out of the store, Li Fan used alien bone swap to change his appearance. The women only heard the sound of Li Fan's bones cracking. Then, an ordinary-looking young man less than 1.7 meters tall stood in front of them. This ability shocked them. I didn't expect that husband knows how to disguise himself. Chun smiled. Since that's the case, let's disguise ourselves as well. We don't want to cause trouble for husband. Chun was rather meticulous. The 4 of them were stunning beauties and would attract attention wherever they went. If they wanted to keep a low profile, the 4 of them had to change their appearances. Chapter 1328. Li Fan returned to the 7 Chivalry Mountain Villa with the 4 beautiful sword maids who had also disguised themselves. These 4 sword maids also knew some disguise techniques. Although they could not change their body shape, they could change their appearance. Right now, Li Fan and the 4 maids looked no different from ordinary people. This way, the 5 of them were much more low-key, and no one would notice them. Chun and the others were also very curious about what the 7 Chivalry Mountain Villa looked like. However, when Li Fan arrived at the 7 Chivalry Mountain Villa, his heart sank. The tourist area, which was originally bustling with activity, was now deserted. At the foot of the mountain, the owner of the restaurant was driving away flies in boredom. Husband, why is this place so empty? Chun could not help but ask when she saw this scene. I'm not sure. I'll go and ask. Li Fan felt that something was wrong. Could it be that the 7 Chivalry Mountain Villa had met with a huge change while he was away? Li Fan walked forward and asked the owner. Owner, why is there no one here today? Li Fan sat in front of the table with the maids and ordered a few bowls of hot noodles. Sigh, the 7 Chivalry Mountain Villa has been sealed off recently. Tourists cannot enter. The owner sighed as he served them noodles. In the past 2 days, there have been foreigners coming to compete with the people of the mountain villa. In order to prevent innocent people from getting hurt, the mountain villa has been sealed off. Foreigners? Which foreigners? Li Fan ate the hot noodles. However, as he was used to Chio's delicacies, the noodles were tasteless in his mouth. Chio's cooking was indeed good. She even made his mouth taste good. I don't know either. They said that they are foreign experts, and they all look the same. Who knows which country they are from? The owner did not know much either. Li Fan could not get any more information out of him. Pfft, why is the food here so disgusting? Xia complained in a low voice, but Chun stopped her. Xia how can you say that? It's too rude. But it is indeed disgusting. Xia felt a little wronged. Compared to Chio's food, it is far inferior. How can you be so picky when you are outside? Chun reminded Xia be careful or the boss will scold you. Let the boss scold me. When Chio heard this, she immediately became excited. I'm willing to take the scolding for my sister. Shut up. Dong picked up her chopsticks and knocked them on Chio's forehead. Li Fan couldn't do anything to these maidservants, so he could only laugh bitterly. All of you, behave yourselves. Don't cause me any more trouble. Chun was the most sensible. She reprimanded them and then looked at Li Fan. Husband, we will listen to your arrangements. Yes, let's go up the mountain after eating. If he wanted to know what had happened to the 7 Knights Villa, he could only ascend the mountain and take a look for himself. All right, I'll listen to you. Li Fan finished the noodles in 3 or 4 mouthfuls, but the girls ate a little slower. They all remained polite, eating the noodles slowly, putting them into their mouths one by one. Li Fan was a little dumbfounded. The speed at which they ate was a little too slow, however, he was too embarrassed to say anything. How could he have the heart to rush these girls? Husband, I'm full. Chun-er was exceptionally intelligent and could already tell that Li Fan was impatient. She didn't eat much before putting down her chopsticks and using a napkin to wipe her cherry-red lips. You only ate so little. Li Fan was a little surprised. Yes, I'm full. After Chun-er finished speaking, the other girls also reacted and put down their chopsticks. I'm full, I'm full. I'm full too. It doesn't taste good anyway. Li Fan was a little touched. Although these girls had different personalities, they were all very clever. Moreover, they were all on his side. As he interacted with them more in the future, they would probably understand him better. Husband, which way are we going up the mountain? The main passages are all sealed. We'll go up the mountain through the secret passage. Li Fan knew every secret passage in the 7 Chivalry Villa. After all, he had personally supervised the construction of all of them. As the master of the villa and with so many people, Li Fan couldn't possibly not leave a way out for everyone. Li Fan had built a total of 7 secret passages in the 7 Chivalry Villa. This was also the experience that he had gained from teaching egoism. He brought the girls up the mountain through the secret passage. After about 10 minutes, they arrived at the top of the mountain. The 7 Chivalry Villa was built on the top of the mountain. It was surrounded by greenery and faced the sea. When Chun-er and the others came out of the secret passage and saw the scenery, they couldn't help but praise it. I didn't expect this villa to be like a paradise. It's really a good place. Of course, this is the place that I personally chose. Li Fan pointed at a pavilion in the distance. There seemed to be a secret behind it. I even built a small courtyard behind that. It's filled with peach trees. I like it very much. Really? Chio-er was very excited. Lord, can you bring Chio-er to take a look? Sure. Li Fan didn't expect Chio-er to like such elegance. He was very happy. When the time comes, hang Chio-er on the peach tree. Lord. Lord. Lord can do whatever, hee. Husband, there seems to be some movement over there. Chun-er couldn't do anything about her third sister. It seemed like she couldn't change this habit of hers. Li Fan also heard the noise in the distance. He glanced over and muttered. It's in the direction of the martial arts arena. Li Fan lifted his legs and walked over there. The few of you, follow me. Let's go and watch the show. He had to go there to find out what exactly had happened to the 7 Chivalry Villa. There was a group of people in front of them. They were all customers of the villa. There were people from all the sections. Li Fan blended in with them and hid to watch the show. 4 girls huddled close to Li Fan and squeezed next to him. Although the 4 beauties had changed their appearances, their unique fragrance couldn't be changed. Also, their voluptuous bodies deeply stimulated Li Fan. Amitba, Li Fan silently chanted the name of Buddha and tried to calm himself down. At this moment, on the martial arts arena, a group of foreigners was confronting Xia Ho and the others. Brother, who are these people? Li Fan asked a guy who was leaning on a sword and laughing in the breeze. This group of scum calls themselves the 8-Nation Alliance. Huh? Li Fan almost vomited blood. 8-Nation Alliance? These foreigners must have eaten a bear's heart and leopard's gall. This group of idiots. They came here to make a scene while the villa lord is not here. Leaning on sword's friend clenched his fist. If the villa lord was here, they wouldn't be so arrogant. Li Fan looked at the so-called 8-Nation Alliance. He gathered essence chi in his eyes and instantly saw through these people. Chapter 1329. The so-called 8-Nation Alliance seemed to have some experts. The most powerful one was a blonde British man. He stood there with his arms crossed. He wore a white suit and had a disdainful sneer on his face. These people wore different clothes according to their nationality, and each of them had their national flag on their shoulders. Li Fan took a look. The so-called 8 nations were the United States, England, Greece, Japan, Germany, India, South Korea, and Thailand. What surprised Li Fan the most was that he actually saw a few foreign countries next to the United States. Damn, it was just a province in Huaxia, but they actually came out to make their presence known. These jokers really couldn't stay idle. They just had to do something. Who's that blonde? Li Fan asked again. This idiot is the captain of Team A of the United States. His name is Adam. The people from Sword Reliance gnashed their teeth in hatred when they talked about him. This guy is a peerless idiot. He was the one who led them to come here and cause trouble. So that's how it is. He really is a bastard. Li Fan silently looked at this shameless guy called Adam, wanting to see what he was going to do. Everyone, we have already given you enough face. Xia Ho stood there. A beautiful little girl, but now her face was as cold as frost. Behind her, the left and right protectors of the villa, Guan Wenbao, and Yan Kai were all there. One of them was wearing a green robe and looked extraordinary, like a god of war that had descended. The other was wearing a white robe and looked handsome and confident, like the reincarnation of Panan. Although Guan Wenbao's appearance was not as good as Yan Kai's, the two of them had their own characteristics and could be said to be the most attractive people in the villa. At this moment, among the people watching the show, there were many young ladies who liked the two of them. It was unknown which busybody in the villa even made a list of the 7 heroes' villa's handsome and beautiful people. Among them, Yan Kai was ranked first because of his appearance, and Guan Wenbao was ranked 5th because of his valiance. As for Li Fan, he was actually not on the list. This made Li Fan depressed for a while. Standing behind the two protectors were Discipline Elder Chen Junhua, Cultivation Elder Imperial Concubine Zhou, and Sword Bearer Elder Murong Ai, who held the hero's sword. Dragoness stood beside Murong. The two girls were holding hands, looking very charming. They were simply a pair of exquisite lolas. Apart from them, the chief disciple, Lu Xiaohu, and the sword-wielder disciple, Jiang Yi, stood on either side. The two disciples were also glaring angrily, as if they wanted to tear these invading barbarians into pieces. Behind him was a flight of stairs leading to the main hall. Butler Yang Shueyue, external disciple A Peruko, and Yan Jing Hall's hall master Dong Yi stood on the steps. Even Huang Lei, Wang Daodu, Liao Wushuang, Lin Yuhsan, Takeda Lan, Lu Wan, and even Lu Zhu were there. It seemed that this was a big gathering in the villa. It was probably because of a crisis in the villa that so many people were gathered here. Husband, do you need our help? Chun lowered her voice and asked. No need. Let me take a look first. Li Fan wanted to see how these people would deal with him without him around. The 7 Knights Villa could not always rely on him. There were many things that they had to deal with themselves. My dear, Elder Xia. Adam's Mandarin was very fluent. He stood on the training field, and behind him was the 8-nation coalition army. We're here to ask for an explanation. Adam had a glib tongue. He dragged South Korea and England to list out Li Fan's crimes one by one. This Li Fan has committed all kinds of crimes, and his hands are stained with the blood of innocent people in our country. In the words of you Huaxia people, he has committed the most heinous crimes, and his crimes are too numerous to be listed. Your villa, please don't protect this criminal. Hand him over. Not to mention that our villa master is not around when he's out traveling. Even if he's here, what can you do? Xia Ho did not hold back at all. You clowns know very well what you've done. My villa master is just enforcing justice on behalf of heaven and raising the prestige of our country. Enforcing justice on behalf of heaven and raising the prestige of our country, huh? Adam laughed loudly. I wonder if those innocent people who died in Li Fan's hands would agree with you. What do you want? Xia Ho did not treat Adam kindly at all. Do you think my 7 Knights villa is easy to bully? So what if I bully you? Adam sneered. You're just a bunch of sick men of East Asia. Do you really think that you can defeat us by hiding here and practicing some bullshit martial arts? Humph. Guan Wenbao was furious when he heard that. He was about to step forward with his Yenhua saber but was stopped by Xia Ho. Big brother Guan, don't be rash. Although he hated Xia Ho had a sense of propriety when dealing with these matters. When Li Fan was not around, Xia Ho and Dong Yi were the ones who made the decisions for the villa. Therefore, Guan Wenbao could only suppress his anger and retreat to the side first. You want to fight? Sure. Adam's face was full of ridicule. I am a fair person and am willing to give you a chance to struggle. Each side will send out 7 people and have a duel. If we lose, we will turn around and leave. If we win, I'm sorry, but your 7 Knights villa will belong to us. Fuck, why should it belong to you? Who do you think you are? A bunch of foreign devils came to our 7 Knights villa to act cool. The people in the villa could not help but curse. What, you don't dare? Adam sneered again and again as if he was certain that Xia Ho did not dare to accept their challenge. They were all true elites. Today, it was time to expose these clowns' tricks. Moreover, Adam had obtained reliable information that the control chip of Dragon God No. 1 was hidden in the 7 Knights villa and was being protected by Li Fan's people. As long as they obtained the control chip, Dragon God No. 1 would no longer be a threat. From then on, America would be able to develop a similar satellite weapon and the whole world would be under America's control again. There's nothing to be afraid of, but your condition is too simple. Contrary to Adam's expectations, Xia Ho was not the least bit afraid. Instead, she raised another condition. If you lose, I want you to kowtow to the 7 Knights villa's main hall 3 times, then crawl down the mountain on your knees. Xia Ho was also holding back her anger. Now that she raised such a condition, Adam burst out laughing. Why not? You can't win anyway. Adam was very confident in his own people. Or rather, he looked down on this bunch of Chinese monkeys from the start. A bunch of ignorant and arrogant fellows actually believed in some non-existent Qigong. Today, Adam not only wanted to snatch away the control chip of Dragon God No. 1, but he also wanted to ruthlessly humiliate the Chinese martial arts world. He wanted the 7 Knights villa to lose all face. Chapter 1330. If that's the case, let's choose someone. Xiar already had a candidate in mind. The 7 Heroes villa was full of talents. How could they let a few foreigners bully them? There was no way out for the 7 Heroes villa in this battle. They had to defeat those foreigners. The villa master was the guardian of Huaxia, and the 7 Heroes villa also had the same responsibility. Sir, aren't you going to make a move now? Xiao'er had always been hot-tempered. How could she tolerate this? Her hand was trembling as if she wanted to summon her sword. Li Fan reached out and held Xiao'er's slightly hot hand. There's no hurry. I've been working hard to manage the 7 Heroes villa. How can we be bullied by a few foreigners? Moreover, I'm here. How can the villa lose? If you're not in a hurry, why should I be? Xiao'er snorted and seemed a little unhappy. She was kind enough to help, but she was reprimanded. How annoying. My kindness is treated as malice. Xiao'er, don't be rude to your husband. I know. Then, she was reprimanded by Chun'er, and Xiao'er was unhappy. Li Taiguang, I'll leave the first battle to you. Adam glanced at the man in the Tai Chi suit standing at the side. The man quickly nodded and patted his chest. Don't worry, Commander. I'm the strongest warrior of justice in South Korea. I won't disappoint you this time. That's good. Go now. Adam was about to agree when he suddenly spoke again. Elder Xia, there's something I forgot to tell you. What is it? Xiao'er felt that this guy was plotting something again. Isn't there a saying in Huaxia? Fists and legs have no eyes. How about we sign a life and death writ when we start fighting? Life and death are all up to fate in this arena. You want to sign a life and death writ? Xia'er looked at Adam in shock. Of course. If any of us, or any of you, die in the arena, it will be considered a wasted death, and we won't pursue it. That sentence put Xia'er in a dilemma. Huaxia was a country governed by law. The so-called life and death writ was not enforced by law. If he accidentally killed someone, Adam and the others would definitely tear up the agreement and come after him relentlessly. If they killed the people on his side, they could easily leave Huaxia by relying on the diplomatic protection agreement. This fellow was really despicable. Although the Shangfang sword had immunity for murder, they were not Li Fan. They were just Li Fan's subordinates. Elder Xia, don't worry. Guan Wenbao was already prepared for the first battle. He carried his crescent blade and was full of confidence. I know what I'm doing. Alright. No matter what, Xia Ho trusted Guan Wenbao very much. The brothers under Li Fan would not let him down. He would not let Li Fan down. Then I'll leave it to you. On the other side, Li Taiguang had already jumped onto the huge battle stage. He suddenly lifted his foot and kicked the wooden stake beside him. Bang! The wooden stake was immediately smashed into pieces. It could be seen that his kick actually had an explosive power. My missile leg is unparalleled in the world. Li Taiguang crossed his arms, one foot on the ground and the other in the air. Sick man of East Asia, quickly come and die. Big brother Guan, you be careful. Yang Shueiyue walked forward and gently held onto Guan Wenbao's arm with a face full of concern. Yan Kai, who was standing at the side, whistled. Yang Shueiyue shyly lowered her head. It was hard to tell if Guan Wenbao was blushing. After all, his face was originally that color. Don't worry, I'll be back soon. As Guan Wenbao spoke, he carried his crescent blade and leaped 7 to 8 meters away. He landed on the battle stage and stood opposite Li Taiguang. Humph, green-clothed brat, consider yourself unlucky today. You will lose your life here. As Li Taiguang spoke, he raised his body and prepared to beat Guan Wenbao to the point that even his mother wouldn't recognize him. But at this moment, Guan Wenbao suddenly raised his crescent blade and shouted loudly. Ha! A red light exploded from his body as a powerful yuan qi was released from Guan Wenbao's body. It directly condensed into a blazing warhorse beneath him and carried Guan Wenbao up. The audience below the stage were all shocked. My goodness, this is the martial god's true body. So the descendant of the Guan family had also mastered this peerless martial art. The Seven Heroes Villa was like a tiger that had grown wings. Before anyone could react, a wave of fire swept past. Guan Wenbao rode his blazing warhorse and instantly arrived in front of Li Taiguang. A crescent blade brought with it red flames as it swept across Li Taiguang's body. Pfft! Aya! 2 calves flew out, accompanied by Li Taiguang's pig-like scream. Guan Wenbao's blazing warhorse raised its hind hooves and kicked Li Taiguang off the stage. The 8-Nation Alliance army was dumbfounded. What was going on? And on the Seven Heroes Villa's side, the crowd clapped and cheered. The praises were louder and louder. Guan Wenbao rode his blazing warhorse and walked around the stage, as if he was showing off his prowess. After that, he stepped on the raging flames and descended the stage. He dispersed his martial god true body and stood beside Yang Shueiyue once again. Commander Adam. Xia Ho's smile was like a blossoming flower. Her beauty stunned everyone. It looks like we have won the first round. Oh right, our villa has a healing medicine. Shueiyue, go and get some and give it to that Korean friend. Yes, Elder Xia. Yang Shueiyue also happily went to get the medicine. Adam gritted his teeth so hard that they almost shattered. Fuck. What a huge fuck. They were all true elites. He had great expectations for them. He was waiting for these people to destroy the Seven Heroes Villa so that he, Adam, could make a great contribution. Team A's commander was not what Adam wanted the most. He was ambitious and wanted to find an opportunity to become the President of the United States, a true leader. But in just a single exchange, he lost a subordinate. This made Adam lose a lot of face. Looks like this was the Chinese's strategy. They had chosen the strongest among them in the first round. Therefore, the Huaxia people were very prideful. They would definitely want to put on a show of strength in the first match. It doesn't matter, Li Taiguang is the most useless among his subordinates. It doesn't matter if he dies. This is the Seven Heroes Villa after all. We are guests, so we have to give the host some face. Adam's expression quickly calmed down and said slowly, "This time, we are letting you have one round. You don't understand our manners and actually sent your strongest general. This is truly a mistake, a mistake." Pfft, ha ha ha. Yan Kai, on the other hand, laughed out loud, causing Adam to frown. "What are you laughing at?" "I'll, you are too funny. Since when did Old Guan become our strongest general? Did you evaluate him? Old Guan, did you secretly give him money? Why is he licking your ass?" Chapter 1331. Adam was proficient in Chinese and had at least passed level 8. He immediately understood the meaning of licking buttocks. The surrounding people also laugh. Adam's face turns red. Old Guan also rolls his eyes. He doesn't want to talk to this stinky Taoist. "Bastard, you dare to speak rudely to me. This Taoist grandpa is just speaking the truth." Yan Kai laughs, "Don't talk about comparing to others. Old Guan can't even compare to this Taoist grandpa." Guan Wenbao continues to roll his eyes. "Since that's the case, are you here for the second round?" Adam asks gloomily. "Bullshit." Although Yan Kai used to be a Taoist, his words are always so vulgar. This Taoist grandpa is such a powerful person. How can I go on stage so early? With this Taoist grandpa's ability, I must be the finale. Yan Kai says as he takes out a mirror and combs his hair. Moreover, the wind is so strong. This Taoist grandpa's hairstyle is messed up. Li Fan knows Yan Kai's temper the best. If he messed around like this, Adam would probably be so angry that he would suffer internal injuries. Elder Xia. Adam wasn't a very shrewd person. After being provoked like this, he couldn't suppress his anger anymore. He raises his voice and asks, "Who is going on this round?" Ox knows, don't just shout. Guan Wenbao's saber hilt heavily hits the ground, making a loud sound. It is like an old monk striking a bell. Everyone's hair stands on end. This Guan Wenbao really has great strength. If you have the ability, go on. Hey, this Taoist grandpa has a bad temper. Yan Kai's nostrils emit smoke. You brat. Have you forgotten the days when you were pressed down by this Taoist grandpa? His words make many women's eyes light up. These two. Don't tell me. They have a gay relationship. In this case, the two of them are a qualified couple. Oh, full of love. There are already many girls who are looking forward to the two of them coming out. Yang Shueyue is also stunned. Could it be that her beloved brother Guan really has a homosexual fetish? No wonder. He didn't want me after so long. Thinking of this, Yang Shueyue suddenly feels wronged. Her eyes turn red. Ox knows. Can you not speak ambiguously? Guan Wenbao was indeed unromantic, but he was also irritated by Yan Kai's words. If you talk nonsense again, I'll chop off your dog head. Ayaya, look at how anxious you are. Yan Kai laughed, alright, since you want to compete with me to see who's harder, I'll show you. As he spoke, he suddenly stepped on the cloud ladder, and with 3 swoosh 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 swoosh, he instantly arrived on the stage, and the people below cheered. Showy but impractical Chinese. On the other side, a strong German man walked onto the stage. With his height, when he stood on the battling platform, it caused the people below to exclaim in surprise again and again. My goodness, this guy is a little too big. He was 2.5 meters tall. He was like a little giant. This is Germany's chariot corps. Adam felt much more at ease when he saw him enter the arena. This German tank was extremely strong and had the body of a diamond. When he enters the battlefield, he can directly knock over the enemy's main battle tank. Just this one person's battle strength is comparable to the enemy's armored company. With such powerful battle strength, his 7 knights villa is probably crippled. That pretty boy opposite of him has thin arms and legs. Just one hit and his bones will be broken. Olaf, don't be polite, crush this rude pretty boy into pieces. Jia, leave it to me. Olaf let out a strange laugh and then tore his clothes, revealing his bull-like muscles. His muscles look like they are about to explode, they are also glistening with oil. Olaf's feet stomped on the ground, then with his shoulders crossed, he charged towards Yen Kai like a barbarian. Those who don't know would really think that a tank is crushing him on the stage. Olaf left a half-foot deep footprint on the ground, it is enough to show how powerful this person is. Sure enough, there is always someone better. Li Fan can't help but praise. Husband. I'm afraid that old Taoist won't be able to make it. Chiu can't help but ask, how about me? Chiu wants to be bullied by that big guy. Li Fan ignored Chiu On the other side, Olaf has already crashed into Yen Kai. Olaf is very pleased, this Chinese monkey will be smashed into meat paste by me. However, he suddenly felt dizzy and directly ran away from Yen Kai, hitting his head on a red stone wall next to the stage. Bang! The stone wall is directly smashed into pieces. Everyone is shocked, such a strong destructive power. Friend, is there something wrong with your eyesight? Yen Kai stands at the side and smiles at the dizzy Olaf, however, this old Taoist thinks that I can introduce you to a job. Our Fiefan company is preparing to enter the real estate industry, how about you help us with the demolition? Olaf, with his yellow-white hair, roars again and again, it is obvious that he is angered. He turns around and once again crashes into Yen Kai. Yen Kai reached out with one hand and touched Olaf's head. Then, he slammed Olaf's body to the side. At the same time, Yen Kai sweeps his feet and trips Olaf's calf. Bang! Olaf's weight is astonishing, he is big, and his collision force is very strong. Now that he is tripped, he directly suffers from it. The pain is so painful that his vision turns black and his head is buzzing. Yen Kai takes 2 steps back, squats on the ground and claps his hands at Olaf. Good doggy, come quickly, this old Taoist has dog poop, do you want to eat it? Although Olaf doesn't understand Chinese, he and the others have a simultaneous translator, thus Yen Kai's words have really angered him. The repeated mistakes and humiliation have completely ignited Olaf's emotions. He starts to roar, his body suddenly starts to swell, as if he has eaten spinach. His entire body instantly grows to over 3 meters tall, a lot of black hair also grows on his body, making him look like a black bear. Li Fan frowns slightly. Orc? This orc dares to show his face in public, isn't he afraid of being judged and hunted down by the Union? Bear Man Olaf is covered in black hair, those who don't know might think that he is a black-haired dumpling that has come back to life. As he roars, he raises his huge palm leaf fan and slaps at Yen Kai. Yen Kai sneers, grabs Olaf's wrist with one hand, then takes a step back, hits Olaf's chest, and hurls him forward. Bang! The huge Olaf is immediately thrown into the air, smashing heavily in the distance. Compared to Li Fan's bear strike, your kung fu is far inferior. Chapter 1332. Olaf was dizzy from the fall. Even though he had transformed into a bearman, the fall was not light and he vomited blood. You are boring. I'm tired of playing with you. Yen Kai said as he walked in front of Olaf. He stretched out his hand and sucked on Olaf's head before lifting him up. Olaf's huge body was lifted up by Yen Kai with one hand and thrown into the air. Yen Kai tossed Olaf's body around like a ball. Finally, with a flick of his hand, Olaf was instantly thrown off the stage. His entire body smashed into the ground and he fainted from the fall. Did you see that? Yen Kai sat on Olaf's body and gave Guan Wenbao the middle finger. I didn't even use my martial god true body to deal with this idiot. Everyone clapped and cheered. However, Adam's expression was very ugly, as if his father had died. 2 losses in a row. This time, Adam felt very hurt. Olaf could be considered an expert, but he was defeated just like that. What kind of sorcery did the Chinese use to be able to lift 1,000 caddies? Taoist priest, what kind of martial arts did you use? Ignorant. You don't even recognize Tai Chi. I look down on you. Yen Kai curled his lips as if he looked down on Olaf. You're lying. Adam did not believe him at all. I know Tai Chi. It is a set of calisthenics for old people to strengthen their bodies. How can it have such power? Bah! Ignorant fool. My Tai Chi will beat you up, idiot. Yen Kai pointed at Adam. Fight me if you have the guts. You have already fought once. There is no need to fight again. Adam endured. He thought to himself, fuck, I'll let you be arrogant for a while longer. I'll deal with you later. Ha ha ha, I think you don't dare. You look quite strong. Is it because that thing down there is not good enough? You can't be considered a man. Yen Kai's ridicule provoked the Wulin people not to laugh out loud, but there were also some who secretly muttered, this Yen Kai is too shameless, his words are indeed somewhat unreliable. Such a rebel, no wonder he was chased down the mountain by Wudong. As for Yen Kai, his cultivation was wild and unrestrained. He did not care about what these people thought. Elder Xia. Shouldn't you restrain your subordinates? The corner of Adam's mouth twitched. He turned his head and snorted at Xia Yi. My apologies, this is not my subordinate. He is the protector of the right, Yen Kai. His position is even higher than mine. When Adam heard this, he continued to ask. Then the guy in green just now is, oh, he's the left protector of the manor. I see, I see. Adam was overjoyed. He was no stranger to the term protector. He had read those random wuxia novels in the past and knew the importance of the position of a protector. In a sect, this protector was only below one person and above tens of thousands of people. Li Fan was not here, and the 2 protectors of the villa had been dispatched. So, the next ones should be small fries and crab generals, which would be very easy to deal with. What a proud wuxia person. He actually used up all his trump cards so early. What a pig-like opponent. Adam turned back to take a look. A bald Thai boxer was standing at the side with his hands clasped together, not making a sound. Acha, you go. Yes. Acha suddenly opened his eyes. 2 rays of light shot out from his eyes like lightning, causing everyone to be secretly alarmed. Acha was only wearing a pair of red boxers, and his hands and feet were wrapped in white gauze. It was the standard attire of a Thai boxer. He leaped and somersaulted in the air, jumping 5 meters away and 3 meters high. Then, he dropped 1,000 caddies in the air and landed heavily on the stage. Bang! The 2 marble bricks on the stage were immediately crushed by Acha. So powerful. The martial artists were discussing. It seemed that this Thai boxer was not to be trifled with. His strength carried a powerful destructive force. If it hit someone, it was unknown if that person would be able to withstand it. Aya, Xia Ho also cried out in surprise. Adam was secretly pleased. He thought to himself, you're finally afraid. Commander Adam, how can your people be so rude? That big guy just now was the same, and now this exhibitionist is also the same, constantly destroying our things. Commander Adam, although you're a guest, we can't bear such a huge loss. Please remember to settle the bill before you leave, okay? I believe your 8 countries won't go back on their words. Xia Yi's words were overt and covert, causing Adam to be in a difficult position. Fuck their grandma, why did they meet such a bunch of scoundrels? However, they could only be complacent now. Each of his warriors was stronger than the other. Cha. Teach them a lesson. Don't be lenient. It doesn't matter if you kill them. This is the stage, life and death are determined by fate. Yes. Cha did not know how to speak Chinese, so he spoke in Thai. Who's next? Xia Yi was very relaxed. She looked at the people behind her. Me. Me. Lu Xiaohu could not sit still anymore. He was about to jump out, but Chen Junhua's hand pressed down on his shoulder. Xiaohu, you're the chief disciple. You can't casually make a move. Chen Junhua carried his big sword and slowly walked to the front from behind Xia Yi. Leave this match to me. Aya, Elder Chen. Lu Xiaohu could not hold back his emotions. He practices fist techniques while you practice sword techniques. You can't fight together. 10,000 laws of nature. Chen Junhua said, when you practice sword techniques to the end, you will have no sword. Ah, Elder Chen has already practiced to this level? Lu Xiaohu was taken aback. Not yet. That's why I need to practice more. Chen Junhua said as he lightly jumped up and swung the big sword on his back. He landed on top of the sword and flew onto the stage together with it. The big sword was stabbed into the marble floor, and Chen Junhua's feet were pressed on the edge of the sword. This big sword was as big as a door. Ordinary people would not be able to use it, but Chen Junhua liked it. Cha muttered a bunch of words that Chen Junhua could not understand. Dong stood in the crowd and translated for Li Fan in a low voice. He said he will kill this Chen Junhua with one punch. Li Fan was a little surprised as he looked at Dong. You also know Thai. Martial arts is broad and profound. Not only does it exist in China, it also exists in other places. Chun explained for the quiet Dong. For example, India, Russia, and Thailand all have their own martial arts. Therefore, in order to study these martial arts, Dong also learned the languages of these places. Li Fan was a little speechless. This Dong isn't she a little too powerful? Lin Yuhsn stood on the stage and spoke fluently in Thai to Cha. Dong blushed. She said, idiot, go home and drink milk. Chapter 1333. Li Fan was silent for a while. This girl was proficient in several languages. After all, she had an IQ of 140. But after following him for a long time, she had learned to talk nonsense. Sure enough, she was marked by the company she kept. It seemed that he had to teach this girl a lesson later. While Li Fan was thinking about this, the Thai guy on the other side was getting angry. Obviously, he was not happy with what Cha had said. He mumbled a bunch of gibberish. Then, with a bounce of his body, he spun a full circle in the air. Following that, he swung his leg and descended from the air. His right leg, which was wrapped in white gauze, heavily chopped down on Chen Junhua. This guy doesn't even wear shoes. I wonder if he has athlete's foot. Li Fan muttered in his heart. On the other side, Acha's leg had already slammed down on Chen Junhua's head. However, Chen Junhua was not in a hurry. He just raised his big sword. Dang! Acha's heel knocked on the big sword. The big sword suddenly sank, and Chen Junhua's knees bent slightly. Wow, such strength! I didn't expect this skinny Thai monkey to be able to explode with such strength. It seems that people from other countries can also practice kung fu other than China. The martial artists were talking about it. The internal martial arts was not an original creation of China. For example, Bodhidharma was an eminent Indian monk. He came to China to preach and spread kung fu and Buddhism. In Shaolin, there was a set of Shaolin Dharma sword. However, the further west one went, the less popular kung fu was. Especially for internal martial arts, there were only a few people who believed in it. After all, for Westerners, they did not believe in acupuncture points. Naturally, they could not practice internal martial arts. This Tai Acha was obviously an expert in kung fu. However, after so many years of evolution, their internal martial arts had its own changes and evolved into another kind of technique. Now, with the help of the genetic chip, his strength had increased greatly. With this kick, he had planned to break his opponent's big sword. However, the sword seemed to be made of super alloy and did not break. However, little did Acha know that although Qin Junhua's sword was made of meteoric metal, what truly protected it was the essence energy that Qin Junhua had infused into it. How could Acha understand the power of Yuan Qi? Acha landed on the ground and followed up with a flying knee aimed at Qin Junhua's face. Clang! Qin Junhua swung his sword, and the blade collided with Acha's knee. Acha was sent flying, somersaulting in the air before landing on the ground. Qin Junhua, on the other hand, only took a step back and picked up his sword again, calmly looking at Acha in front of him. Acha, what are you hesitating for? Hurry up and kill him. Adam was a little anxious. He had already lost 2 rounds in a row. He had to use this round to establish his dominance. Kill him like a gale. Adam urged. #@#. Acha shouted, then raised his right fist and punched at Qin Junhua from a distance. Suddenly, Qin Junhua frowned and raised his sword. Clang! Qin Junhua's body was sent flying. His feet slid along the ground for 3 to 4 meters. He finally stabilized his body, but his sword was emitting black smoke. It was clear that the punch earlier was not light. Oh! Li Fan was a little shocked when he saw this punch. What a fellow! This punch seemed to have the same effect as his Supreme Dragon Fist. However, his Supreme Dragon Fist was much stronger. If he had been the one who attacked earlier, Qin Junhua would not have been able to block this move. Seeing Qin Junhua block his move, Acha was also shocked. Clearly, he did not expect that he would lose. This punch was his consummate skill. How could it be blocked? Acha was not resigned to this. He gathered energy on his knee and suddenly shot at Qin Junhua like lightning. So fast. Everyone let out a cry of surprise. Acha had arrived in front of Qin Junhua in the blink of an eye with a powerful force. Qin Junhua's sword technique was simple and plain. He did not use any particularly magnificent moves. He only raised his sword and chopped down forcefully when Acha arrived in front of him. One mountain-splitting move. Acha panicked. Qin Junhua's sword was right in front of him. If he collided with it, he would be sending himself to his death. Acha changed his attack method. He stopped his knee strike and landed on the ground. Then, he turned around and punched at Qin Junhua's chin. But Qin Junhua still calmly slashed with his sword. Acha nearly vomited blood. If he attacked with this sword, he would be sending himself to his death. He withdrew his fist again and retreated to the side. Then, he swung his leg at Qin Junhua. Qin Junhua still used mountain-splitting move. It was just a simple sword, but if Acha kicked with his leg, he would definitely end up with a broken leg. Acha dropped down, stepped on the ground, and retracted his leg. He adjusted his posture and kept attacking Qin Junhua. However, no matter how he executed his moves, Qin Junhua would always use mountain-splitting move. Ru Hua was right. One move to dominate the world. The more Qin Junhua practiced, the simpler his sword technique became. In the end, he only needed one move to beat his opponent until they could not fight back. Acha, stop playing around. Quickly kill him. After so long, he still hadn't won the 3rd round. Adam was a little anxious. Acha was even more anxious. Only he knew what kind of situation he was in. #@. He roared angrily, and the strength in his body increased to an even stronger level. Acha was prepared to fight with his life on the line. But just as he was increasing his strength, Qin Junhua's great sword had already arrived in front of him. Ah! Acha was shocked. The great sword stopped in front of him. Acha was so scared that he fell to the ground. Although the great sword had stopped, Acha's entire body was covered in cold sweat. He had completely lost the will to fight. Chen Junhua stood there. In Acha's eyes, his figure was incomparably tall, like a god, so invincible, Acha knew that he had lost. Moreover, from now on, his heart demon had formed. He would probably never dare to compete in Huaxia again. Acha, what's wrong? Hurry up and attack. Adam urged with all his might, but Acha jumped off the stage. Acha, what are you doing? Are you disobeying orders? Adam roared angrily. Acha mumbled a bunch of Thai, then turned around and bowed to Chen Junhua, then turned around and left. He said that he has already lost. He is not that swordsman's match. Dong, translated for Li Fan. Li Fan was overjoyed. Chen Junhua's sword technique had also reached perfection. In terms of sword technique alone, Li Fan felt that he was inferior to Chen Junhua. Although the 12 dragon subduing sword technique was exquisite, it was not as good as Chen Junhua's sword technique. Looking at Adam's side, he was already twitching. He lost 3 rounds in a row. What should he do in the 4th round? Chapter 1334. After losing 3 rounds in a row, Adam came in an aggressive manner and confidently competed, but in the end, he was slapped in the face. This 4th round, they absolutely cannot lose. If they lose again, they will lose all face of the 8-Nation Alliance army. Commander Adam, who will you send for the 4th round? Xia Hao did not hide her happy smile. She looked at Adam and spoke to make Adam suffer internal injuries. If you lose again, you won't have any face, right? In China, although there is a saying to leave some face for others, that is for guests. For shameless people like you, we will not let you win any of these 7 rounds. Don't be too proud. Your luck has run out. Adam gritted his teeth, your experts have all come out, and I still have a lot of experts on my side. Next, you can't rely on luck to win. Then, Commander Adam, please send out the person for the 4th round. Xia Hao said with a smile. Kid, you're courting death. Adam flew into a rage. He had been angry for a long time today. Little Jiro, it's your turn to perform. Hi. A short man with a height of 1.6 meters nodded. His figure suddenly turned into a phantom and disappeared in front of everyone. When he reappeared, he was already standing on the stage. Ninja. Li Fan touched his chin and looked at the ninja in front of him. He is also from the Koga clan. But it doesn't look like it. Takeda Lan told him that the Koga clan of Japan has strict requirements for the ninjas under them. First of all, the disciples must wear the corresponding ninja attire. Genin have their own attire, Chunin have their own attire, and Jonin have their own attire. This is a strict requirement for the disciples, and absolutely no mistakes are allowed. But this ninja in front of him, he is wearing a black gown, and no one knows where he came from. Baka. The short man called Little Jiro looked at Xia Hao and sneered, this round, who will die? The short man could speak Chinese, and this time, Lu Xiaohu could not help but jump out. Come. Let this young master play with you, shorty. Lu Xiaohu was young, and he was not tall in the past. But after practicing martial arts on the island for a year, when he came back, he had grown quite a bit. After he finished mocking, he lowered his body and instantly flew over 10 meters away from the stage, directly arriving in front of the shorty. Black Tiger Steel's heart. Lu Xiaohu liked to fight fast. He came up and clawed at the ninja's chest. All right. The martial artists watching from the sidelines applauded. Lu Xiaohu's, Black Tiger Steel's heart, was almost textbook standard. Moreover, Lu Xiaohu's moves were as fast as lightning. Even if it was him, it would be difficult to block his ordinary Black Tiger Steel's the heart. Li Fan was also gratified, but he knew that the ninja of the island country would not be defeated so easily. Sure enough, the ninja's body suddenly turned into a piece of dead wood and fell to the ground with a thud. Lu Xiaohu was a little surprised. This Japanese could transform. He suddenly remembered that ninjas seemed to have this trick. At this time, he felt a chill behind him. Lu Xiaohu fiercely turned his head, and the ninja had already appeared behind him. At the same time, the ninja was holding a katana in his hand, fiercely slashing at his head. This ninja's assassination technique was indeed brutal. If it was an ordinary person, he would definitely be killed in one move. However, Lu Xiaohu had also gone through thousands of hardships. He instantly sensed the danger and leaped back. Tiger leap. A tiger leap, how ferocious was it? Originally, Li Fan mastered the tiger leap, which was used to pounce on the enemy and subdue the enemy in one move. However, after Lu Xiaohu learned it, he also made some changes. Now, this tiger leap could not only be used to subdue the enemy, but also to retreat. Lu Xiaohu leaped 5 meters away, causing the ninja's assassination to fail. Stupid! Jiang Ye's reprimanding voice came over, "You're the chief disciple, don't tell me you didn't notice the strangeness of this shorty's movement technique? What's the hurry, young master is just playing with him." Lu Xiaohu was somewhat unconvinced. His impatient temper could not be changed in a short time. "Ha, little Jiro is a genetically modified ninja." Adam laughed, "No matter who he wants to kill, he has never failed." "Is that so?" Lu Xiaohu snorted. He leaped over and attacked the shorty fiercely. However, the shorty's movement technique was strange, and he even used a clone technique to disrupt Lu Xiaohu's attack rhythm. Li Fan gently frowned. If this went on, it would not be beneficial to Lu Xiaohu. After all, Lu Xiaohu's physical strength was not limitless. As long as the shorty found an opportunity, he could kill Lu Xiaohu in one move. "Husband, do you really not need help?" Chun Er could not help but ask. "No hurry, let's wait and see first." Li Fan crossed his arms and stood in the crowd, enduring the uneasiness. Lu Xiaohu was his chief disciple. If he could not even beat a strengthened ninja, then he might as well give up on martial arts. The surrounding martial artists were also discussing. Looking at Lu Xiaohu, who was getting more and more tired, they also felt that it was dangerous. "This master's chief disciple is not that great, are we going to lose?" "Sigh, I didn't expect the chief disciple to have such a name." The voices of these people seemed to make Lu Xiaohu more and more impatient. He became uneasy, and the rhythm of his attacks became more chaotic. He crushed a few shorties in a row, but they were all the opponent's clones. Meanwhile, Lu Xiaohu's foot was suddenly tripped by a rope. He staggered and fell to the ground. Everyone shook their heads. "It's over, Lu Xiaohu is dead for sure." The shorty laughed strangely as he appeared behind Lu Xiaohu, and the katana in his hand slashed toward Lu Xiaohu's neck. At this critical moment, a black-furred tiger man suddenly popped out from behind Lu Xiaohu. This guy was more than 3 meters tall, and his tiger claws were like sharp blades. The tigerman's claws pierced through the shorty's lower abdomen and lifted him into the air. Blood flowed down the tiger's claws and spilled on the ground. Everyone was dumbfounded, and Adam's mouth was wide open. Lu Xiaohu sat on the ground, smiling at the shorty who was stabbed in the air by his martial god True Body. "If it wasn't for Elder Xia not allowing the young master to kill, you would be dead now. You shorty, your strength is not bad, and your movements are strange, but you are still too far away from me, the young master." Only then did everyone realize that Lu Xiaohu was just playing with the shorty. Let him be happy first, then despair later. Too weak. Lu Xiaohu swung his hand, and the shorty's body was thrown to the ground. "Is there no strong opponent?" Lu Xiaohu sighed as he returned to Elder Xia's back. Adam was so angry that he almost crushed his white teeth. How could this be? They actually lost the 4th round? Chapter 1335. They were defeated in the 4th round. This made Adam feel that they had come all the way here just to humiliate themselves. This so-called 7 Knights villa actually had many experts. It was just a Huaxia village. Why was it so difficult to conquer? Adam was extremely furious, and also extremely indignant. He was the commander of America's Team A. With his combat power, he did not take these Huaxia people seriously. But now, it seemed that he was wrong, and he was ridiculously wrong. He could not explain himself after losing 4 rounds in a row. What was the point of fighting or not fighting the remaining 3 rounds? Just as Adam was getting angry, a gloomy voice came from behind. It's so lively. Why don't you count me in? Everyone turned to look and immediately frowned. Jiang Feng, who was dressed in a long white robe, was waving his fan as he slowly walked over. Behind him were 3 Imperial Army generals dressed in white and black robes. Li Fan recognized the one on the left. It was the beautiful Shui Wuxin, Jiang Feng's fangirl. Shui Wuxin was still so cold and elegant. She attracted the attention of many men just by standing there. It was a pity that Shui Wuxin only had Jiang Feng in her eyes and in her heart. Wherever she went, her eyes never left her master. Li Fan did not know the 2 on the right. One of them was a boorish, dark-skinned man, while the other was a kind-looking, fair-faced scholar. The 2 of them followed behind Jiang Feng as generals. Their strength was definitely not weak. Behind them were the other generals of the royal army. There were 7 to 8 warrior-level experts. No one knew where so many experts had come from. But Li Fan knew Jiang Feng. He had his own methods. He was extremely cunning. After climbing to the position of the royal army's commander, he could naturally manage the royal army in good order. He was different from that useless Sima Hui. The Sima family had been glorious for several centuries, but it was getting worse with each generation. How could they compare to Jiang Feng, who had endured hardship until now? Oh, it's Commander Jiang. Adam's expression relaxed when he saw Jiang Feng. The royal guards belonged to the Dove faction of China and were on good terms with the United States. They were considered to be on the same side. The Dove faction also hoped to launch Dragon God No. 1. However, they hoped to launch it together with the US so that they could maintain a friendly relationship with the US. Furthermore, once the Dragon God No. 1 was launched, the Hawk faction would be in charge in China, and the Dove faction would lose their power. Therefore, no matter what, he had to obtain Dragon God No. 1's control chip. Commander Adam, you said you were coming. Why didn't you tell me so that I could be the host? Jiang Feng and Adam chatted cheerfully and wittily, causing the heroes of the martial arts world to curse. However, Jiang Feng ignored them. Instead, he was as carefree as a spring breeze. I came here in a hurry. Sorry for disturbing you. Adam and Jiang Feng began to chat. Tui. Jiang Feng. How shameless. You actually colluded with a barbarian. Traitor. Shameless bastard, hurry up and get out of the 7 Heroes villa. Everyone cursed without stop. Jiang Feng ignored them, but Shui Wuxin was not having any of it. A man riding a horse in the west wind was cursing happily. His mouth was filled with profanities, not even sparing Jiang Feng's 18 generations of ancestors. At this time, Shui Wuxin suddenly took out a golden tasseled black whip from her waist and held it in her hand. Following that, with a slap, the horse-riding man's ear was directly smashed. He covered his ear and screamed, causing everyone to feel a chill down their spine. My goodness, what a fast whip technique. Whoever dares to speak rudely to the commander-in-chief again will end up like this. The Jade Lady's rage shocked everyone present. Shui Wuxin raised her whip and warned, next time, it won't be the ear but the mouth. Li Fan was slightly surprised. Husband? Chun tilted her head and looked at Li Fan, not knowing what he was puzzled about. This Shui Wuxin used to practice sword techniques. Why is she playing with a whip now? Master, this is the white bone whip technique. Dong saw it clearly and said, this is the white bone sect's secret technique that has been lost for a long time. Ha! It seems like Jiang Feng is quite amazing. He actually managed to research this lost technique. Li Fan couldn't help but want to praise Jiang Feng even though they were enemies. Commander Adam, you are guests from afar. This 7 heroes villa is so arrogant that they even bully guests. As the commander-in-chief of the royal army, I really can't stand it anymore. How about this, you guys take a good rest first. For the remaining 3 matches, let me fight on your behalf. Jiang Feng's words were also very shameless, but with Shui Wuxin standing there, no one among the onlookers dared to speak carelessly. Elder Xia, what do you think of my idea? Jiang Feng's gaze fell on Xia Yi. Since Commander-in-Chief Jiang wants to stand up for these ill-intentioned barbarians, what else can I say? Xia Yi coldly snorted, Jiang Yi, you fight this match. Her words caused Jiang Feng's expression to stiffen. Jiang Yi carried the extraordinary sword that Li Fan passed to her and slowly walked onto the stage. Jiang Feng clenched his fists, but he quickly calmed down. Elder Xia, this isn't too good, right? Why not? Xia Yi's voice became colder. Since you are willing to be the barbarian's lackey, then let our sword-bearing disciples protect the prestige of Hua Xia. Protect the prestige of Hua Xia. Jiang Feng's expression also became colder. He closed his fan and pointed at Xia Yi. Hua Xia is a country of etiquette. In the past 2 years, we have been on good terms with other countries. Adam and the others are just guests who want to tour around your villa and exchange pointers with you while they're at it, getting to know each other better. But look at what you have done. You have injured and crippled these guests who came from afar. Is this what a country of etiquette should do? You guys are destroying the friendship between the 2 countries. You have evil intentions. Li Fan wanted to curse. Jiang Feng's mouth could really turn black into white. This person is really asking for a beating. He is inverting right and wrong and making false accusations. Xia, couldn't hold it in anymore. Sir, I can't take it anymore. Don't be anxious. Li Fan gently pressed his hand on Xia's shoulder. I am not anxious, why are you anxious? This person is full of tricks. I want to see what he has up his sleeves. Xia had no choice but to suppress her anger. Seriously, to deal with this kind of fellow, can't he just directly kill him? Commander Jiang, this is also the first time I have seen a traitor speak in such a righteous manner. Xia Yi's words were all kinds of rude, and the little girl was holding back her anger. As the temporary person in charge of the villa, how could she let the villa be humiliated when her junior brother was not around? Chapter 1336. Jiang Yi even took out his extraordinary sword and pointed it at his elder brother. All right. Jiang Feng sighed. I don't blame you for not understanding me. Wang Yi, why don't you spar with this kid? Jiang Feng instructed. The black-faced man behind him immediately cupped his hands and took 2 steps forward. Then, without moving his knees, he slid onto the stage as if he had teleported. Good Qinggong. Oh my god, this guy's Qinggong is amazing. This is Wandering Soul Steps. Dong muttered with her hands behind her back and her head tilted. Wandering Soul Steps. Li Fan looked at Dong He didn't know what she had figured out. Master, the Wandering Soul Steps is a long-lost Qinggong. It was passed down from a demonic sect in the past. Wandering Soul Steps and Soundless Saber are a set. If he knows Wandering Soul Steps, he should know Soundless Saber too. Li Fan sighed inwardly. Dong was really an encyclopedia of martial arts. Jin Yong once wrote about Wang Yuyan. Li Fan felt that both of them had their own merits. The black-faced man spoke up as soon as Dong finished speaking. I am General Wang Yi of the Royal Guards. You should be punished for insulting the Royal Guards. Is that so? Jiang Yi sneered. Cut the crap. Make your move. You're a junior. I don't want to bully you. How about I give you the first 3 moves? Wang Yi looked like he was being generous. No need. What was Jiang Ye's personality? He was very arrogant. Ever since she became a sword-bearing disciple, she became even more arrogant, like the plum blossoms in her yard. Plum blossoms, orchid, bamboo, chrysanthemum were the four gentlemen of flowers, and the plum blossom was the leader. With the pride of the plum blossom, how could it accept such a favor? Jiang Yi let go of the extraordinary sword and sent it into the sky. Then, like a slithering snake, she appeared in front of Wang Yi in an instant, almost sticking to the ground. Spirit snake comes out of its hole. Jiang Ye's snake claw went straight for Wang Yi's throat. Her attack was cunning and vicious, and it came from a strange angle. It was extremely difficult for an ordinary person to defend against it. Pfft! Jiang Ye's palm pierced through the opponent's throat. However, she immediately turned around and lashed out with her leg. Pa! Wang Yi's body was forced to take a step back. He slid backwards, dodging Jiang Ye's kick. Amazing! Wang Yi praised, "You're ruthless enough. There's no point in talking anymore." Jiang Yi suddenly used Spirit Snake comes out of its hole again, its snake claws stabbing over. Wang Yi snorted coldly. This time, he did not use the wandering soul steps. Instead, he pulled out the saber at his waist in an attempt to avoid Jiang Ye's attack. However, Jiang Ye's hand shook. Like a real snake that had come to life, it directly wrapped around Wang Yi's wrist and locked Wang Yi's arm. At the same time, the extraordinary sword finally fell and was caught by Jiang Yi. Azure Dragon piercing the sun. Jiang Yi unleashed a dragon-subduing sword. This extraordinary sword instantly stabbed in front of Wang Yi. Wang Yi frowned. He could clearly see the power of this sword. Humph! Wang Yi's temper flared up. He circulated his power and forcefully shook off Jiang Ye's body. Although Jiang Ye's martial arts were exquisite, in terms of strength, he was still weaker than Wang Yi, who had practiced martial arts for so many years. However, Jiang Yi was able to force out Wang Yi's strength in 2 moves, which was also extraordinary. "Are you still going to let me have 3 moves?" Jiang Yi asked. Humph! Wang Yi was unhappy. With his strength, he was actually looked down upon by a little girl. Damn it! When did you learn the dragon-subduing sword? Lu Xiaohu was very dissatisfied. This was a consummate skill that his master had just comprehended. Before master left, he learned a few moves. "You little girl, you're too cunning. When master comes back, I want to learn it too." Lu Xiaohu stomped his feet in anger. Silent saber, shadow chasing. Wang Yi ignored the 2 of them, but he could see Jiang Ye's strength. If he gave in to this little girl, he would definitely suffer a great loss. The most important thing now was to complete the commander's order and defeat this little girl. Wang Yi raised the long saber in his hand and instantly appeared in front of Jiang Yi. At the same time, the saber left an afterimage and went straight for Jiang Ye's arm. Shua! A cold light flashed. It was obviously such a powerful saber, but it was silent. Coupled with Wang Yi's ghostly wandering soul steps, it caught people off guard. Wang Yi's saber technique was absolutely terrifying, but Jiang Yi did not dodge. The extraordinary sword in her hand twisted around Wang Yi's saber. She actually forcefully used the treasured sword to attack with the spirit snake entanglement, locking Wang Yi's long saber. At the same time, the spirit snake shadow flashed behind Jiang Yi and directly bit Wang Yi's neck. Martial God True Body. If this bite landed, Wang Yi would probably die or be crippled. But at this time, Wang Yi roared and a powerful force suddenly burst out from his body. He shook off Jiang Ye's treasured sword, and then with a slash, he shattered Jiang Ye's martial god True Body. Following that, he kicked Jiang Ye's lower abdomen and sent her flying. Jiang Yi flew more than 10 meters away and landed at the edge of the stage. She half knelt on the ground, leaning on her treasured sword as blood flowed out of her mouth. Obviously, Jiang Ye's injuries were not light. Shameless! Lu Xiaohu cursed, "You're obviously a martial artist, but you rely on a broken chip to increase your combat power. To think that you've learned such good martial arts, it's simply a waste." Humph, this is also my strength. Wang Yi held his treasured saber and said without any trace of politeness, "The dragon chip in my body has been activated to the highest level. Combined with my internal energy, it's unparalleled in the world. Relying on this kind of method to become a grandmaster of a generation, what trash. Although he often quarreled with Jiang Yi, after all, they were from the same sect. Seeing Jiang Yi being bullied, Lu Xiaohu was the first to protest. Jiang Yi still wanted to make a move, but the moment she stood up, blood flowed from the corner of her mouth. Jiang Yi half knelt again. It seemed that her injuries were not light. Lu Xiaohu immediately stepped forward and helped Jiang Yi up. I don't need your help. Jiang Yi still wanted to struggle, but she did not have any strength left. Don't try to be brave, look at how you are. Lu Xiaohu choked with anger. When master comes back and sees you like this, his heart will ache again. I'm sorry, master. Jiang Yi was somewhat angry at herself. It's not your fault. Lu Xiaohu said as he supported Jiang Yi and was about to leave. Jiang Feng seemed to want to walk over, but hesitated for a moment and stopped. Give this great recover pill to Miss Jiang. Jiang Feng called over a subordinate and asked him to give Jiang Yi a healing pill. However, Jiang Yi threw away the medicine bottle and followed Lu Xiaohu back to Xia Ho's side, then ate a rejuvenation pill. Li Fan shook his head, thinking, I'm afraid that the knot in this pair of brother and sister's heart will never be solved. You guys have lost this round. Jiang Feng finally retracted his gaze and once again looked at Xia Ho. Who will you send for the next round? Chapter 1337. Xia Ho asked Takeda Lan to check on Jiang Ye's injury. It was just some internal injuries, not too serious. After taking the rejuvenation pill, it was obvious that he was much better. Let me fight the next round. Jiang Yi once again volunteered. This time, I will not be careless. Continue to recuperate. Moreover, you have fought once, you can't fight again. Xia Ho pulled Jiang Yi back. This time, take it as a lesson for you. Yes. Jiang Yi also knew that she had underestimated her opponent this time. She actually made a mistake that even Lu Xiaohu did not make. Next round, let me fight. Imperial concubine Zhou flicked her sleeves and was about to go on the stage. She wore a long white muslin dress. With a flick of her sleeves, she lightly flew more than 10 meters and landed on the stage. This woman was like a fairy that had descended to the mortal world. Her peerless beauty and graceful figure had truly mesmerized countless men. In the Seven Knights Villa, the #1 beauty was Imperial concubine Zhou. Although there were countless beauties in the Seven Knights Villa, compared to Imperial concubine Zhou, they all paled in comparison. Imperial concubine Zhou, Zhou Wanshu, the most beautiful woman in the world. This exquisite beauty was actually willing to join the Seven Knights Villa, which made many people envious. Commander-in-Chief, please let me go. When the pale-faced scholar saw Imperial concubine Zhou, his eyes suddenly lit up. Zhao Lu, have you thought about it? When Jiang Feng saw Imperial concubine Zhou, he also felt fear in his heart. This woman was not ordinary. Yes, Your Excellency. Zhao Lu walked forward with a smile on his face. He lightly jumped on the battle stage and landed on the stage. He looked at Imperial concubine Zhou on the opposite side. Beauty, you are the undead evil Buddha, right? Seeing you today, you are indeed a peerless beauty. This young man has admired you for a long time. Zhao Lu also imitated Jiang Feng, holding a folding fan in his hand, a somewhat hypocritical smile on his face, and a pair of eyes kept staring at Imperial concubine Zhou. Imperial concubine Zhou did not speak, but directly appeared in front of Zhao Lu and raised her hand to slap him. Zhao Lu was taken aback. He thought to himself, how can this beautiful woman make a move just like that? She doesn't play by the rules at all. However, he was after all a grandmaster-level expert, and almost subconsciously opened his folding fan to block in front of him. Pa! Zhao Lu was sent flying by the slap. His body skidded through the air for more than 10 meters. It took a lot of effort for him to stabilize his body. Beauty, you're so impatient. Zhao Lu suppressed his internal energy and raised his head to look at Imperial concubine Zhou again. Li Fan watched from the side and could not help but snicker in his heart. This Xiao Lu was really stupid. What kind of temper did Imperial concubine Zhou have? How could she endure such humiliation? Imperial concubine Zhou raised her hand and a green light appeared in her palm. Xiao Lu stood there. He didn't think much of it at first, but his expression quickly changed. This is, Xiao Lu felt the inner energy in his body being sucked away. What kind of technique was this? It could actually absorb a person's inner force through the air. Imperial concubine Zhou's kung fu had already reached perfection. Although she was the one who taught the world-shaking 9 Buddha Sutra, at this moment, she had already used this kung fu as a jumping board, completely discarding all the moves. For Imperial concubine Zhou, every movement of her hand or foot was a technique. Especially her current move, Buddha swallows 6 paths, which could absorb a master's inner force from a distance. Even Li Fan couldn't do this. Worthy of being the undying evil Buddha, but don't underestimate this young man. Zhao Lu laughed, wait until this young man takes you down, then I'll kiss you. Courting death. Imperial concubine Zhou's pretty face turned cold. At this moment, she was like a jade-faced Azura, her eyes emitting an ominous glint. But she immediately returned to normal and indifferently said, it seems like this imperial concubine's willpower is still not enough. What's wrong, beauty? Are you reluctant to scold me? You're just a child with a yellow mouth. Why should this imperial concubine lower herself to your level? Beauty is really pitiful. It's really a pity that a beauty like you is following a trash. It's really a waste. Just as he finished speaking, a jade fox demon suddenly appeared behind Imperial concubine Zhou. It rushed towards Xiao Lu and spat out a green light. Boom! The ground trembled. The floor of the martial arts stage was unexpectedly lifted up, and a green light soared into the sky. A powerful force rushed in all directions, causing the surrounding people who were watching the show to feel pain on their faces. My goodness, worthy of being the undying evil Buddha in the past. This level of skill is indeed powerful. When the green light dispersed, although Zhao Lu was still standing there, his appearance was obviously somewhat embarrassed. You can humiliate me, but you can't humiliate him. Imperial concubine Zhou's expression once again turned ferocious. Today, you must die. Wu Xin, what do you think? Looking at Zhao Lu, who was struggling to resist Imperial concubine Zhou, Jiang Feng was not in a hurry to make a move. Instead, he asked Shui Wu Xin, who was beside him. Commander, I'm afraid Zhao Lu can't do it. Shui Wu Xin shook her head. Although he has reached the great master level, it's impossible for him to be Zhou Wanshu's opponent. 100 years ago, Zhou Wanshu was known as the undying evil Buddha, setting off a reign of terror in the Jianghu. Now that she has returned to the Jianghu, whether it is internal force or experience, Zhao Lu cannot be compared to her. Yes, your analysis is very correct. Jiang Feng nodded his head, but Zhao Lu is different. How can the general that I have chosen be worse than Li Fan's people? He pointed at Zhao Lu. Zhao Lu, stop playing around. Don't let the guests worry about you. Yes, Lord. Zhao Lu took 2 steps back and patted off the dust on his body. He smiled at Imperial concubine Zhou. I'm sorry, beauty. Our boss has given the order. It seems that I can only hurt you. AI, you have to believe me. It's not that I don't have tender and protective feelings for the fairer sex, but it's really difficult to go against the orders of the emperor. He seemed to be waiting for Imperial concubine Zhou's response. However, Imperial concubine Zhou simply ignored Zhao Lu. Instead, she made the figure of the demon fox behind her condense even more clearly. Take this. Although Zhao Lu and Wang Yi both had the strength of great masters, they did not have any profound achievements in martial arts. Therefore, they did not know how to use the martial god true body. However, he had the dragon chip, so he had nothing to fear. Zhao Lu waved his hand and threw the fan in his hand. This fan instantly hid in front of Imperial concubine Zhou, but it was slapped away by the demon fox behind her. Imperial concubine Zhou controlled the demon fox and raised one of her fox claws. Once again, she activated her Buddha's devouring six paths. With the support of the martial god True Body, the power of her Buddha's devouring six paths increased by 2 to 3 times. Zhao Li's body emitted a dense blue light. This was the appearance of internal force. It was visible to the naked eye as it was absorbed into the demon fox's palm by Imperial concubine Zhou. Compassionate Guanyin. However, Zhao Li did not move. Instead, he stood there with his hands clasped together. His white face actually revealed a compassionate look. Seeing this scene, Dong Er could not help but let out a low cry. This is the Guanyin palm. Li Fan raised his eyebrows. Fuck, another martial art that he had never heard of. Chapter 1338. This Jiang Feng was indeed amazing. Not only did he not mention Shui Wuxin, he even managed to get 2 hidden experts to help him. Although the 2 of them are not strong, their martial arts are exquisite. Together with the dragon chip strengthening, he created 2 grandmaster-level experts. Guanyin palm. Imperial concubine Zhou is also slightly surprised. I have not seen this set of martial arts for many years. Beauty really has good eyesight. Zhao Lu licks his lips. This little one's martial arts is used to subdue you. When the time comes, I will let you enjoy the taste of this little one's Guanyin palm on the bed. Zhao Li's behavior is too embarrassing, right? Shui Wuxin is somewhat unable to bear it. It is normal for a man to be interested in a woman. However, Jiang Feng said, Zhao Lu is a straightforward person. Moreover, he's just saying it. He won't really do anything. But I don't trust him. Wuxin, even if you don't trust him, don't you trust me? Jiang Feng closes his fan. He knows what he is doing. Yes, feeling that Jiang Feng is somewhat impatient, Shui Wuxin does not dare to speak anymore. This Wang Yi and Zhao Lu are the talents that he found in the past. At that time, there were a few people, but only these 2 people are valued by Jiang Feng. Now that he thinks about it, it should be their unique martial arts. Sound Blade and Guanyin Palm are both absolute arts. In the current martial arts world, only the 2 of them know them. Guanyin Palm was created by a friend of mine. Imperial concubine Zhou sneers, I did not expect that today. I will have to personally kill his descendant. Don't speak so early. Zhou Wanshu, you better obediently come into this little one's arms. Go and have sex with the king of hell. Imperial concubine Zhou stands there. The demon fox behind her stretches out its claws and grabs 2 long swords that are condensed from internal energy. Then, it slashes towards Zhao Lu. But Zhao Lu just stands there, unmoved. But suddenly, 6 pairs of palms appear around him, protecting his body. Dang! The 2 huge swords fall down, but they are blocked by Zhao Li's palms. Guanyin Palm, known as the invincible divine technique. Dong Er explained in Li Fan's ear, in the past, it was said that practicing this Guanyin Palm is equivalent to being in an invincible position. Is it used to describe the defensive power of the Guanyin Palm? When Li Fan saw that Imperial concubine Zhou's attacks were blocked several times, he understood what was going on. It seemed like Zhao Lu was playing around with Imperial concubine Zhou without any fear. However, the undying evil Buddha's 9 Buddha Sutra should be stronger. Even Dong Er was a little afraid of the title of Imperial concubine Zhou. Of course, if she hadn't been sealed for hundreds of years, I'm afraid that no one in the martial arts world, or even the world, would be a match for her. This woman was too heaven-defying. If it wasn't for Li Fan forbidding her from absorbing the life force of others, she would have died. Perhaps, with her 9 Buddha Sutra, she would have long recovered to the standard of a saint. Beauty, did you see that? You can't hurt me at all. Imperial concubine Zhou attacked several times, but to no avail. This greatly increased Zhao Li's confidence. Why don't you follow this young man? This young man is much stronger than that boy named Li Fan. I guarantee that I will make you wish you were dead. What imperial concubine Zhou couldn't bear to hear the most was someone insulting Li Fan. She no longer held back her strength and directly used all of her strength. The martial arts stage began to shake. The white veil on imperial concubine Zhou's body fluttered without any wind. The demon fox behind her suddenly began to shrink and finally turned into a red feather coat, draping over her body. Martial God's true body, second rank. Jiang Feng's brows slightly wrinkled. What martial God's true body? How can it be compared to the power of our dragon chip? Zhao Lu looked down on this martial art. Who said that they don't have talent in martial arts? With the dragon chip, they can still trample these so-called experts under their feet. Thinking of this, he suddenly jumped and quickly approached Imperial Concubine Zhou. At the same time, many palm shadows enveloped Imperial Concubine Zhou. However, Imperial Concubine Zhou stood there with one hand behind her back and the other in front of her body. Unexpectedly, she was using Li Fan's crane hand, easily smashing these palm shadows. No matter how many palm shadows Xiao Le had, for Imperial Concubine Zhou, it was not worth mentioning. The surrounding martial artists were cheering for Imperial Concubine Zhou in their hearts. As expected of the undying evil Buddha. This calm of an expert is something they don't have. Beauty. This young man is coming. Zhao Lu increased the speed of his palm shadows. He was constantly approaching Imperial Concubine Zhou. However, at this time, Imperial Concubine Zhou suddenly stepped forward and suddenly placed her palm on the center of his eyebrows. Zhao Lu turned pale with fright. He subconsciously concentrated all of his power on his forehead. Bang! Still without any technique, Imperial Concubine Zhou's internal force spat out from her palm and hit Zhao Li's body. Zhao Lu was immediately sent flying like a cannonball. He somersaulted several times in the air and fell on the edge of the martial arts stage. Die! Imperial Concubine Zhou's figure once again appeared in front of him. Her palm was facing Zhao Lu, who was under her feet. Her palm was about to erupt with internal force. Hold your palm. However, at this time, a blood-red sword energy suddenly cut through the sky and instantly arrived in front of Imperial Concubine Zhou. Imperial Concubine Zhou frowned. She stretched out her hand and used Buddha's devouring 6 Tao to absorb the sword energy into her palm. However, her cheeks were crimson. It seemed that she did not successfully absorb the sword energy. Bang! Imperial Concubine Zhou flicked her sleeves. The blood-red sword energy flew out from her palm and was thrown to the side. This blood-red sword energy pierced through the vermilion wall next to her, leaving a clearly visible hole in the wall. This hole was as thick as a finger and the incision was smooth and round as if it was made by nature. Such a terrifying sword energy, even Imperial Concubine Zhou was moved. Everyone quieted down and stared blankly at the man who shot the blood-red sword energy. The commander of the Imperial Army, Jiang Feng. This skill, I don't know, Dong was also stunned. Obviously, she didn't know what kind of skill this was. Li Fan, who was observing everything in the dark, couldn't help but narrow his eyes. What a good Jiang Feng, he has improved again. Imperial Concubine Zhou, it's fine if you stop. Why do you have to hurt people? Jiang Feng slowly put down his right hand, we are all martial artists. Don't hurt our friendship because of a little argument. Your skill is not bad. Imperial Concubine Zhou looked at Jiang Feng. At the same time, she waved her sleeves and used her internal energy to sweep Zhao Lu off the stage. The heart demon allowed you to cultivate to this level, it's also not bad. Come up and have a match with me, how about it? You have already won this round, you can't have another match. Jiang Feng chuckled and took 2 steps forward. Milord, let me, Shui Wuxin was just about to volunteer but was stopped by Jiang Feng. Wuxin, you can just watch from the side. For this last match, let me do it myself. After saying that, Jiang Feng looked down, Villa Masterly, you have been watching for a long time. Why don't you come out and have a match with me? Chapter 1339. Jiang Feng's words were like a bomb, exploding in the crowd. Everyone was discussing. Li Fan was here too. Xia Yan and the rest looked at each other. The villa master was back. Where was he? Could it be that Jiang Feng was lying? Adam's face was gloomy. Li Fan was back. Was his information wrong? Impossible. The intelligence of the Great Mei Empire could never be wrong. What did Commander-in-Chief Jiang mean by this? What was he planning? But after a long time, no one came out from the crowd. Villa Master Li, do you need me, your brother, to invite you out with a sedan chair? Jiang Feng chuckled and pointed his fan at the crowd. Brother didn't lie to you. I saw you. Everyone looked in the direction he was pointing and saw an average-looking, short man standing in the crowd. He didn't look special. If he was thrown into the crowd, no one would notice him. He was so ordinary. How could he be the famous villa master of the 7 heroes? Looks like I have to treat you. As Jiang Feng spoke, his body suddenly emitted a black radiance. Then, he pointed his right index finger at the ordinary man. Azura Divine Sword, Immortal guides the way, 70% power. A blood-red sword chi shot out from his finger and directly shot at the man. How dare you! The man didn't move, but the 4 women beside him wearing different colored clothes moved. The 4 women looked ordinary, but they all formed a sword art at the same time. The swords on their backs were all unsheathed. Black tortoise formation. The 4 swords intertwined and rotated continuously, forming a fan that blocked the blood-red sword chi. But the sword chi suddenly exploded. The airwave instantly tore apart the 4 women's disguise. The 4 absolutely beautiful women standing there shocked everyone present. What beautiful women, and they were quadruplets. Good heavens, there were actually such beauties in this world. It was really worth living. Green dragon formation. Chun are ordered and prepared to kill Jiang Feng. Anyone who dared to attack her husband must not be left alive. Wait. The ordinary-looking man put his hand on Chun-er's shoulder. Since he came looking for me, how can I ignore him? Sisters, wait here for a moment. I'll go and catch up with my second brother. As he spoke, the ordinary-looking man walked out of the crowd. With every step he took, the muscles on his body would constantly change a little, and his bones would creak. Soon, a handsome man walked into everyone's line of sight. The reactions of the people present were also very different. Master. Manor Lord. Li Fan. Xia Ho and the others were pleasantly surprised. Murong was even more straightforward. She ran over and plunged into Li Fan's arms, making the other girls extremely envious. However, they were all thin-skinned. None of them dared to be as bold as Murong. Brother-in-law, you're finally back. I missed you so much. Murong hugged Li Fan tightly, and the little girl burst into tears. Big sister is back, but there's no news from you. I thought something happened to you, Wu-Wu, good girl, don't cry. Didn't I come back safe and sound? Humph, yes, you even brought back 4 beautiful girls. Lin Yuhsn couldn't help but snort. Li Fan rubbed his nose awkwardly. Although Lin Yuhsn missed him, she was never forgiving with her words. She was also a big vinegar jar, so it was normal for her to be jealous. Although Lu Wan was also a little jealous, she was much calmer than Lin Yuhsn. Seeing that Li Fan had returned, her eyes were filled with tenderness. She wished that she could plunge into Li Fan's arms. For the first time, Imperial concubine Zhou smiled, causing everyone to be intoxicated. In the past, King Yu of Zhou was willing to light the beacon to win the smile of a beauty. They laughed at King Yu of Zhou for being muddle-headed, but today, they understood the heart of this emperor. Xia Ho wiped the tears from the corners of her eyes. After holding on for so long, Li Fan came back today, but she was completely relaxed. All kinds of grievances surged in her heart, making her want to cry uncontrollably. Brat, you still know to come back. Liao Wushuang's eyes were also red. She hadn't seen Li Fan for so long, and she missed him very much. Today, they finally met, but her heart was filled with unspeakable sorrow and happiness. Among these people, the most worried was Liao Wushuang. A few days ago, she received news that Li Fan and a person called Tai Bai Jinxing had a great battle in Haibin City, and no one knew whether he was dead or alive. Because of the Gu Huan in her body, if something happened to Li Fan, she wouldn't be able to live either. Although she knew that Li Fan was still alive, she hated herself. If only she could be a little stronger, she would be able to share Li Fan's worries. Luo Xuewu desperately restrained her happiness. He really came back. Her judgment was never wrong, Li Fan was destined to be a hero. However, he didn't have a place for her in his heart. She didn't know when she would be able to fulfill the marriage they had promised. Perhaps, as long as Muronging was alive, she would never have a chance. Dragon Lady ate snacks while looking at Li Fan. Although she didn't speak, she was a little surprised. Why was there a familiar aura on Li Fan's body? Takeda Lan couldn't speak at this time. She could only stand silently in the crowd and look at Li Fan. So many women were worried about him, Takeda Lan felt a little sour in her heart. What's wrong with me? Don't tell me I have some feelings for Li Fan. Impossible, it should just be some good feelings, it can't be anything else. Even Shui Wuxin, who was standing behind Jiang Feng, couldn't help but look at Li Fan a few more times. This annoying guy, he really is still alive. Master. I've embarrassed you. With a plop, Jiang Yi directly knelt in front of Li Fan. Jiang Feng, who was at the side, tightly gripped the fan in his hand, causing the bones to creak. You've already done very well. Li Fan raised his palm, and a wave of inner force helped Jiang Yi up. However, there are still many experts in this world who aren't martial artists. What you've mastered is the way to compete with martial artists, so you didn't lose unjustly. Thank you for your guidance, Master. Disciple will definitely continue to work hard and not disgrace the sect. N. Li Fan pointed at the 4 beautiful sword maids behind him. You've practiced the dragon subduing sword a little more, later I'll teach you a few more moves. They are all experts in swordsmanship. You can also learn from them. N. Guan Wenbao and Chen Junhua didn't say a word and directly walked over, each giving Li Fan a hug. Huang Lei, Wang Daodu, and the rest also stepped forward to greet Li Fan. The brothers were all happier than the other. While Yan Kai laughed and directly patted Li Fan's shoulder, you brat, where did you run off to again? Why didn't you call me Grandpa Dao? Next time I'll call you. Li Fan smiled, then turned his head and looked at Jiang Feng. Jiang Feng smiled faintly, while Adam, who was beside him, had a look of unwillingness in his eyes. Forget it, so what if he came back? Today I'll let him die here with me. Chapter 1340. A person's name is like a tree's shadow. Even though some of the martial artists had just arrived at the Seven Knights Villa, when they saw Li Fan standing there, they felt confident. Third brother, look, your popularity is so high that even I, as your elder brother, am a little jealous. Jiang Feng opened his folding fan again and looked at Li Fan. Heaven is watching what people do. Li Fan stood there with his hands behind his back. The 4 beautiful sword maids beside him added a lot of elegance to him. Second brother, if you do more things, I think you will also be popular. Whether what I do is a good thing or not, it's not up to you, and it's not up to me. Jiang Feng did not buy Li Fan's words, let the later generations judge. Is it really a good thing to make the pugilistic world like this? Li Fan retorted sarcastically, didn't you see? These foreign devils are trying to bully us. If we don't have my 7 Knights Villa, I'm afraid these bastards will ride on our heads and shit on us. So what? Jiang Feng disagreed, even if we drive them away, how good will it be? If they left, these people would fight each other day and night. In the end, everyone will fight to the death and both sides will be injured, and these people will come again to defeat us and step on our heads. I can't refute you about internal strife. China loved internal strife since ancient times, this was something Li Fan could not defend, but your method is too extreme. So, don't judge me with good or bad, let the later generations say. Jiang Feng looked at Li Fan with a smile. How good can your method be? You kidnapped my most important family member, is that justice? Jiang Feng, I don't want to talk about Jiang Ye's matter. Li Fan avoided this topic. I don't want to make her sad, so you better not mention this matter again. Okay. Jiang Feng nodded. Let's talk about this competition. Everyone has competed so many times before, although your villa won a lot. But that's just taking advantage of the fact that these guests have come from far away and are not used to the climate here, so it doesn't count. As soon as Jiang Feng finished speaking, the surrounding people started cursing. Shut up. Shui Wuxin cracked the whip, producing a loud pop sound. You have no right to speak. Although these words were a little hurtful, everyone had to admit that it seemed to make some sense. Commander Jiang, what do you mean? Li Fan was the backbone of the villa. With him in charge, Xia Ho and the others could relax. As long as Li Fan stood here, no matter what kind of enemy they faced, they would not be afraid. Look, you're the 7 Chivalry Mountain Villa's manor master, and you're also an imperial sword. And I'm the commander of the royal guards, so we're of equal status. Jiang Feng pointed at the two of them with his fan. Why don't you and I have a match, and we'll decide who wins and who loses. How about that? Sure. Li Fan agreed readily. He also wanted to personally see how strong Jiang Feng was now. If you want to fight with the commander, beat me first. Shui Wuxin suddenly jumped out, and the whip in his hand heavily lashed at Li Fan. He didn't hold back at all. And Li Fan lightly leaned to the side, avoiding Shui Wuxin's whip. With a bang, a crack appeared on the ground beside Li Fan's feet. Give me your life. Wang Yi and Zhao Le, these two generals, actually didn't have any bearing, and attacked Li Fan. Of the two, one used the soundless saber, silently appeared on Li Fan's left side, and slashed down quickly, leaving afterimages behind. And the other struck out hundreds of palm shadows, densely packed, sealing all of Li Fan's escape routes. Despicable. The people of the villa all cursed, but it was too late for them to help. But Li Fan's expression was normal, and he even stopped a few sword servants who were about to help. Li Fan's left hand used the Thunder Dragon Blast, and directly used the hand blade to break the treasured saber in Wang Yi's hand. Next, his right hand used the Dragon Capture Art, and the powerful internal energy instantly dissolved the Guanyin palm, and pulled Zhao Lu in front of him. War Dragon Roar, 80% power. Roar. Li Fan followed up with a War Dragon Roar, and the shockwave directly sent the two flying. And Shui Wuxin, who was far away, didn't escape, and was blown away by the shockwave. Jiang Feng was the one who held her back, and stabilized her body. With only 3 moves, he easily subdued the 3 generals who attacked him at the same time. So powerful. This is the 7-hero Villa Master. He is much stronger than before. Good. Jiang Feng cheered. As expected of my third brother, his martial arts has already improved to this level. This is interesting. My 3 subordinates were a bit impulsive. I am really sorry. I will definitely teach them a lesson when I return. Those 3 generals were originally sent by Jiang Feng to spy on Li Fan. Seeing the power of Li Fan's attack, Jiang Feng also re-evaluated his strength in his heart. After disappearing for a period of time, Li Fan's strength has made a breakthrough again. This brat is indeed a threat, but I have also improved. I will not be inferior to him. Don't say unnecessary words. Li Fan's voice became cold. People of different paths cannot make plans together. There is bound to be a fierce battle between you and me. I see that you have improved a lot. Why don't we completely decide who is better today? Only life and death, regardless of victory or defeat. Good. Jiang Feng's eyes also lit up. He was waiting for this sentence from Li Fan. As the imperial sword, Li Fan naturally has the power of life and death. But he is the commander of the royal army. He also has the power to act first and report later. Today, the two of them will decide life and death. Jiang Feng has full confidence in himself. for this day, he is even willing to fall into the Azura path. A strong Azura chi rises from Jiang Feng's body. The chi on his body constantly changes color. At first it was blue, then purple, then red, and finally stopped at black. Bang! Jiang Feng did not move a step, but the ground under his feet cracked, the cracks like a spider web, spreading out in all directions. This kind of skill. I have never seen it before. Dong Er thought hard for a long time, finally sighed lightly. Looks like my knowledge is not enough. Dong Er, don't worry, his skill is definitely created by himself. Li Fan comforted Dong Er, then asked loudly, second brother, can you tell me, what is this self-created skill called? Hehe, Azura Gate. Jiang Feng became even more proud. My skill is divided into Azura Mantra and Azura God's Sword. It sounds quite powerful. Li Fan looked at the black chi around Jiang Feng, his heart began to calculate. Jiang Feng sneered, the current him is incomparably confident. This Azura Mantra has a total of 9 levels, every 2 levels can let his Azura chi evolve once. From the initial blue Azura, to the current black Azura. But he has not trained to the 9th level, that way he can train to white Azura. At that time, he will naturally be invincible. How about it, Li Fan, do you dare to fight with your 7 gallant fist? Chapter 1341. Your kung fu is indeed powerful. Li Fan could see through Shura's gate. It was indeed a divine kung fu. It seemed that Jiang Feng was also a talent. He had endured so much and was finally about to soar into the sky. I can't beat your Shura's gate with just 7 hero fist. How rare. You actually admit defeat. Jiang Feng was surprised, then it's not too late for you to surrender now. As long as you hand over the 7 hero mountain villa and cripple your kung fu, as your brother, I won't make things difficult for you. I'm not done yet. What's the rush? Li Fan crossed his arms. Today, I've also created an advanced kung fu from the 7 heroes sect. It's called 9 Dragon Spell. Since brother is so interested, I'll risk my life to accompany you. I'll use my 9 Dragon Spell to test your Shura's gate. How about it? Oh. Jiang Feng thought about it. He was a smart person. When he heard that Li Fan had created another advanced kung fu, he hesitated. Although he was confident, he had never looked down on Li Fan. His 3 opponents had been defeated too quickly. Jiang Feng didn't even have time to figure out Li Fan's strength. However, there was a battle today. His Shura's gate would not lose. Shura's gate is indeed a top-notch kung fu, but mine isn't bad either. As he spoke, a white light emitted from Li Fan's body. This light was like a swimming dragon, circling around Li Fan's body before dispersing into the air. Bang! A wave of air burst out from Li Fan's feet, rolling in all directions. Some of the weaker martial artists couldn't even stand straight. Jiang Feng, let's fight. The 4 sword servants retreated to the side to avoid affecting Li Fan's battle. The 2 stood on the stage, their internal energy colliding with each other. Surprisingly, they were evenly matched. There was a faint explosion in the air. It was clear how strong their internal energy was. Without hesitation, Jiang Feng made his move and closed in on Li Fan by about 3 meters. He stuck the fan on his waist with one hand and pointed at Li Fan's chest with the other. Azura Divine Sword, Deity shows the way, 80% power. Li Fan sneered. His left hand brought up a bolt of lightning as he slashed down. Thunder Dragon Heavenly Punishment, Thunder Dragon Bombardment, 80% power. A blood-red sword energy and a bluish-purple thunder saber collided in the air. Boom! The power of the 2 exploded. Both sides withstood the shockwaves and fought fiercely. Both of them were top-notch experts. In a short moment, they had exchanged more than 10 moves. Jiang Feng's Azura Divine Sword allowed him to release sword chi from his fingers. This set of martial arts should have been derived from their family's acupoint punching technique. At this moment, with the help of the sword chi, this set of martial arts became even more powerful. However, the profound dragon ice palm that Li Fan displayed also shocked everyone. In particular, the cold air that erupted from his palm made Jiang Feng even more afraid to approach recklessly. The two of them attacked each other at the same time and then retreated. Azura Divine Sword, 2 dragons playing with pearls, 90% power. Jiang Feng's 2 hands released blood-red sword chi, one from the left and one from the right, heading straight for Li Fan. Bang! However, Li Fan's feet bounced, and the sword chi directly passed through Li Fan's afterimage. He himself appeared behind Jiang Feng and at the same time, aimed a kick at the back of Jiang Feng's head. Dragon Beheading Terrace, Evil Dragon Steals the Moon, 90% power. Li Fan's kick was fast and fierce, and the essence of it was steel. However, Jiang Feng already felt the cold wind behind him. His body fell to the ground, and then when his body landed, he turned around and slapped his left palm at Li Fan's chest. Azura Divine Sword, Azura Star Picking, 90% power. On Jiang Feng's palm, a red sword chi emerged from each of his fingers. There were a total of 5 sections, and they were like Azura's claws. They were aimed at Li Fan's chest. Dragon Beheading Terrace, Sleeping Dragon Flipping Over, 90% power. Li Fan's brows furrowed. This move was very bad. He immediately changed his leg technique, turned up and down, hung upside down in midair, and swept his leg out. Bang! Li Fan's kick landed on Jiang Feng's wrist, and his hand was kicked high up in the air. Jiang Feng borrowed the force to flip in midair, and once again stabilized his body. Then, he used 2 dragons playing with pearls again, and 2 sword chi shot towards Li Fan who was still in midair. However, Li Fan directly opened his mouth and roared. Battle Dragon Roar, 90% power. A powerful air wave rushed over, and Jiang Feng's sword chi was shattered. And Li Fan borrowed the force of this roar to fly backward. He turned in mid-air again, landed on the ground, and stabilized his body. The surrounding people were all mesmerized. This was a battle between 2 top-notch experts. Both of them were too strong, and their fight was too beautiful. It was too much for their eyes to take in, and they were afraid to miss a single move. What was an unparalleled battle? It was probably just like this. As a martial fighter, to be able to witness such a great battle in one's lifetime, one's life was not in vain. This 9 dragons art is indeed not bad. Jiang Feng readjusted his state, and the aura in his body started to circulate again. You are indeed my greatest opponent. If I don't kill you, my plan will not be able to be realized. Because your plan is fundamentally wrong. Li Fan also suppressed his rumbling qi. Fighting with Jiang Feng had consumed a lot of his inner force. Even without me, there will be others who will come out to stop you. Since I have chosen this path, I have long expected the difficulty. Jiang Feng did not hesitate, and a fierce glint flashed in his eyes. If God blocks me, I will kill God. If Buddha blocks me, I will kill Buddha. You are still hiding something, right? Why don't you take it out? Li Fan asked. Fine, as an elder brother, I naturally cannot hold anything back. As Jiang Feng spoke, the black aura on his body started to explode. Soon, a 4-meter-tall black-armored Azura condensed behind him. However, after the Azura appeared, it quickly compressed its body, and soon, a black Azura armor appeared on Jiang Feng's body. You have already reached the 2nd stage of the martial god true body. Li Fan could not help but be surprised. Second brother, you have improved a lot faster than me recently. Thank you for the compliment. You should also bring out your full strength. Let me experience your black dragon ice palm at full strength. How about it? Alright. A Valkyrie condensed behind Li Fan, and the Valkyrie quickly turned into a dragon-shaped armor, and Li Fan wore it. 2 half-step martial saints stood on the stage, and both were martial gods at the 2nd stage. Their strength was naturally self-evident. Many people below the stage were extremely envious. Being able to train to this level was every martial fighter's dream. Immortal guidance, 100%. After activating the martial god True Body, they could also smoothly use 100% of their strength. Jiang Feng's blood-red sword qi was a lot thicker than before, and it went straight for Li Fan. Dragon devours all elephants, 100%. Li Fan struck out with a black dragon ice palm, and forcefully absorbed Jiang Feng's sword qi. Chapter 1342. Hee, it's not that easy to absorb my sword qi. Jiang Feng sneered. Previously, Imperial concubine Zhou also wanted to absorb Jiang Feng's sword qi, but in the end, she had no choice but to toss it out. Who said that I want to absorb your sword qi? Li Fan laughed and pushed his palm toward Jiang Feng. I'll return it to you. The blood-colored sword qi erupted from his palm and instantly shot toward Jiang Feng. Jiang Feng frowned. The power of this blood sword was actually much stronger than what he had unleashed himself. He immediately dodged to the side and dodged this blood sword. However, at the same time, a bad signal lit up in his heart. Li Fan's habit was to destroy everything in its path, using one move to defeat another. Before Jiang Feng could turn his head, Li Fan had already arrived before him. He bent his body and was almost sticking to the ground. His palm carried a powerful chill. Even Jiang Feng could feel a strong sense of oppression from it. He didn't dare to underestimate it and immediately retreated, wanting to dodge. However, Li Fan wouldn't let him do as he wished. His palm was like a maggot in a tarsal bone, sticking close to Jiang Feng's body and following him. Mystic Dragon Spitting Pearls, 100%. Li Fan's palm spat out a ball of white qi bead. It brought along a strong chill and directly sprayed it on Jiang Feng's body. Humph. Jiang Feng immediately circulated his energy to block it, but half of his body was still covered in frost from the explosion of the ice bead. Immortal guides the way. Jiang Feng also took advantage of the moment when Li Fan used his ultimate technique and activated his sword qi. His talent and wisdom were both outstanding. In almost an instant, the sword qi accurately hit Li Fan's shoulder. Pfff. Li Fan was stabbed. Blood burst out from his shoulder as his body was sent flying. Jiang Feng also stood there, half of his body frozen. Li Fan somersaulted in the air and landed on the ground. He tapped on his shoulder a few times with his finger, sealing the qi and blood on his shoulder. The injury on his shoulder was also rapidly healing under the strengthening of his genes. Jiang Feng, on the other hand, was circulating his powerful Azura qi to melt the frost on the right side of his body. White mist emerged and flew into the air. Both of them are so powerful. If I could be half as good as them, my life wouldn't be in vain. The martial fighters below couldn't help but exclaim in admiration, but Adam was a little speechless. At this moment, the combat power that Li Fan displayed was equivalent to slapping his face in all kinds of ways. This Huaxia man's combat power was simply heaven-defying. Be it Li Fan or Jiang Feng, both of their strengths were far above his. What kind of joke was this? How could a mere martial artist from Huaxia have such strength? Impossible. Absolutely impossible. The United States was the strongest existence. Their AI chips should have the highest power. Adam frowned deeply. He watched the battle and used the retina camera on his eyes to send this scene to the American Empire's Combat Data Analysis Center. Since these two people were very strong, their genes would definitely become Empress Mei's treasures and make her even stronger. This Jiang Feng's strength isn't bad. Xia was somewhat moved when she saw Jiang Feng's methods. He's not bad, but he can't be compared to my husband. Chun laughed. My husband still has many secret techniques that he hasn't used yet. Villa Master Li. Jiang Feng looked at Li Fan, and something flickered in his eyes. You are indeed very strong, and your strength seems to be on par with mine. How can that be? I admire Commander-in-Chief Zhang's strength. Jiang Feng laughed. Then let's put down everything and fight with all our strength. Sure. The two laughed at the same time and instantly charged at each other. Bang, bang, bang. The two exchanged a few blows in a row, and both of them let go of their strength and fought to the fullest. Their strength seemed to be on par, and it was hard to tell who was stronger in a short period of time. Gradually, Jiang Feng's Azura mental cultivation method revealed a flaw. It seemed that he did not have enough strength. His speed and strength were slightly reduced. Li Fan was overjoyed and took advantage of the situation to launch a fierce attack, causing Jiang Feng to retreat continuously. Adam was a little flustered. He pulled Shui Wuxin and started shouting. "Is your commander-in-chief dying? Quick, you guys go and help him. Commander Adam, this is a martial arts competition that belongs to martial artists. It is sacred and inviolable." Shui Wuxin did not have a good impression of Adam. She shook off Adam's hand and said rudely, "You and I can only watch from the sidelines. Moreover, Lord Commander-in-Chief has not lost yet." "What nonsense. It is already like this, could it be that he has not lost yet? He is going to die soon." Adam berated, "Quick, go and help Commander-in-Chief Jiang." Behind him were an Indian yoga warrior, a Greek-Roman warrior, a British knight of the Round Table, and himself. Just as the four of them took a step forward, four swords suddenly flew out and hovered above their heads. "Whoever dares to step forward, kill without mercy." The four beautiful sword maids stood there and activated the sword formation. Killing intent flickered in the eyes of each beauty. "Ignore these four women, go." Adam could not wait any longer. The Indian yoga warrior sneered and licked his lips. "Commander, leave these girls to me. I will play with them." The yoga warrior was bare-chested. His movement technique was very strange. Like a poisonous snake, he slithered on the ground and quickly crawled toward the beautiful sword maids. White Tiger Formation. Chun-Er took the lead and activated the formation. Four swords suddenly descended from the sky and pierced into the yoga warrior's body. The swords pierced into his arms and calves, forcefully nailing him to the ground. "Ah!" The yoga warrior screamed miserably. He was in so much pain that he peed and defecated. He struggled on the ground like a maggot. "Humph, serves you right." Xia coldly looked at the yoga warrior and then scolded, "Whoever dares to move will be killed without mercy. Spare me. Spare me." The yoga warrior desperately begged for mercy, but the four sword maids ignored him. "You guys, how dare you?" Adam was so angry that he wanted to kill someone. White Tiger Formation. Chun commanded again. In an instant, hundreds of sword images descended from the sky and formed a row in front of these foreign devils, blocking their path. "I will say it again, whoever crosses the line will be killed without mercy." Xia was finally satisfied. She was in a very good mood. The corner of Adam's mouth twitched. Looking at the row of sword images in front of him, he finally retracted his leg. "Why didn't you help me?" Adam could only vent his anger at Shui Wuxin. "I already said, martial arts in China is sacred and inviolable." Shui Wuxin rolled her eyes, "You insisted on fooling around. What does it have to do with me?" "You." Adam was so angry that he almost died. These Chinese are not trustworthy. Their cooperation is only temporary. Once America completes the Zeus system, they will definitely not forgive them. Chapter 1343. Li Fan and Jiang Feng were in a mess. Jiang Feng was losing ground with a grave expression. As for Li Fan, he was getting more and more courageous as the fight went on. "Villa Master Li is amazing." "That's right. That Jiang Feng is nothing. He's just a despicable person. How can he compare to Villa Master Li? Jiang Feng is about to lose." The crowd discussed fervently. Jiang Feng's face was pale as if he would lose at any moment. His moves were showing more and more flaws. Jiang Feng seemed to know that he was about to lose. He knew that Li Fan was good at close combat. Hence, he started to switch from offense to defense. He quickly retreated, trying to put some distance between him and Li Fan. Mystical dragon drinking water, 100% strength. But Li Fan struck out with his palm. White frost erupted from his palm and a powerful suction force was born. The difference between mystical dragon drinking water and dragon capture skill was that dragon capture skill was a technique that could absorb and release. Mystical dragon ice palm, on the other hand, dragged the opponent over to receive a fatal blow. Jiang Feng knew that Li Fan's palm couldn't touch him. But he still couldn't control himself. His feet almost left the ground as he was pulled over. Damn it! Jiang Feng's expression changed. His eyes were filled with panic. Jiang Feng, die! Li Fan bellowed, and the power in his palm erupted. And Jiang Feng was already right in front of Li Fan. Everyone thought that Jiang Feng would lose. But at this moment, Jiang Feng's lips curled into a smile. His body suddenly exploded with a powerful black light that enveloped him. Jiang Feng's skin had completely turned black. He looked like a real Asura from hell. Asura's wrath. Jiang Feng's powerful aura exploded, causing everyone's expression to change. This powerful aura wasn't something he had before. This guy still had a trick up his sleeve. Asura stars plucking. Jiang Feng's speed was more than doubled. His claw carried a red sword aura as it slashed at Li Fan's chest. Li Fan was completely defenseless. His body was stiff and he was about to be hit. Li Fan's life seemed to be hanging by a thread. But at this moment, an identical Li Fan suddenly appeared beside him, causing Jiang Feng to widen his eyes. 5 Emperor's Divine Palm, Yellow Emperor Ascending Dragon, full power. Bang! This palm landed solidly on Jiang Feng's body. Jiang Feng was instantly sent flying. He tumbled a few times in the air before finally smashing into the house beside him. The stone walls were blasted open and dust was kicked up. And Li Fan's figure once again merged into one. He landed on the stage with a calm expression. Everyone was shocked. What had just happened? Why did 2 Li Fans suddenly appear? Doppelganger. Imperial concubine Zhou was the first to react. Others might not know, but she, who had lived for several hundred years, understood the origin of this move. As expected of the man this empress has taken a fancy to, he's truly extraordinary. Imperial concubine Zhou was incomparably happy. She was even happier than if she had successfully cultivated the external incarnation. The outer body incarnation was one of the ultimate skills of the martial arts world. It was said that one had to form a second dantian in order to cultivate it. As for how to form a second dantian, no one knew. Therefore, although the skill was good, in the thousands of years of the martial arts world, very few people had successfully cultivated it. Only a few martial artists with great luck could be lucky enough to cultivate this move. However, this doppelganger seems to be using the 5 Emperor's Divine Palm. Regarding the 5 Emperor's Divine Palm, although Imperial concubine Zhou had never seen it, she had heard a little about it. This should be a martial art of the martial emperor's bloodline. How did Li Fan learn it? This little boyfriend of hers seemed to have more and more secrets on him. Shui Wuxin also frowned. Her heart was filled with worry. Lord Commander, is he all right? Bang! The house next to him was broken, and rubble flew everywhere. Jiang Feng's skin was black, and there was blood at the corner of his mouth. He walked out of the rubble. The current Jiang Feng was like a demon god from hell. His eyes were suffused with a crimson light, and his anger was boundless. Commander Jiang, I'm sorry. I was one step ahead of you again. Li Fan crossed his arms and stood there, looking at Jiang Feng opposite him. Do you think you're the only one scheming against me? I know you too well. You hit a trick, and so did I. Li Fan, you deserve to die. After transforming into an Asura, Jiang Feng seemed to have lost some of his rationality. As he spoke, black smoke came out from the corner of his mouth. This was caused by his killing intent. Li Fan looked at Jiang Feng and couldn't help but shake his head. Although this Asura's wrath was powerful, it consumed a lot of Jiang Feng's mental energy. the repercussions would be huge. Without reaching this level, forcefully increasing one's strength and overdrafting one's strength would always be flawed. For Li Fan, practicing martial arts should be done step by step, one step at a time. Jiang Feng, using this kind of martial arts will damage your meridians. Li Fan advised, it's better to stop practicing it as soon as possible. Shut up. Jiang Feng roared, you lucky guy, what qualifications do you have to lecture me? In order to realize my dream, I naturally have to pay the price. Alright, people of different paths cannot make plans together. Li Fan did not say anything more. Let's fight. As he spoke, the elemental energy in his body quickly condensed. At the same time, Li Fan stretched out his hand. The hero's sword in Murong's hand immediately flew out of its sheath and flew into the air before being sucked into Li Fan's hand. Powerful elemental energy constantly condensed on top of Li Fan's sword. Soon, this black sword's blade condensed with a layer of black light, looking incomparably dangerous. After seeing your Azura's wrath, it's time to let you see my martial god true body, 3rd rank. What? Everyone was shocked. This martial god true body had 3 stages. Was there a mistake? They did not understand, but Imperial Concubine Zhou knew a little. Xia Ho also looked at Imperial Concubine Zhou with a questioning gaze. Imperial Concubine Zhou then said, martial god true body indeed has 3 stages. However, to cultivate to this stage, one needs a second dantian. Second dantian? Yes. Imperial Concubine Zhou nodded, this second dantian, ordinary people cannot cultivate it. I did not expect Li Fan to have such a fortuitous encounter, it is truly shocking. Why can one comprehend the 3rd rank of martial god after cultivating the second dantian? Chen Junhua was also a martial arts fanatic, so he immediately asked. There is only one dantian, so it can only strengthen one's own strength. Imperial Concubine Zhou simply explained, with the second dantian, one can increase the strength of a weapon. Look, now that Li Fan is using a weapon, his second dantian is strengthening his sword. This is also because his second dantian has been formed. Otherwise, with his realm, he should be able to surpass a sword without a sword. Imperial Concubine Zhou's eyes were sharp, and her analysis was also very accurate. At this moment, Li Fan had indeed formed his second dantian, so he still needed a sword to perform the 3rd rank of martial god. Even so, he was now unbelievably strong. 9 returned to 110% power. As for Jiang Feng, he had accumulated enough rage points and finally exploded.